All right, guys. So we are live for episode 7 of the DCTV show. Sorry for the delayed start. I have just fixed the stream. It was just a bit delayed and the timings were all off. But yeah, we are ready and we have got a few topics to talk about today in today's live stream. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll just wait for some people to come in before we get started with the topics. But as always, questions can be sent in via Super Chat if you want your questions answered. They will be featured on the screen like this with Gary. So kind of over here, I think. That is it. Yeah. This looks like a kidnapping demand video. Blink twice if you're okay. I'm okay. Yeah, there's just a red light on. I thought it was cool. So I put it on to make it look a bit different. But welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm very excited to do the stream again because I've been loving doing these recently. We're on episode 7, so we're kind of getting to the point where, I mean, like, it's pretty much going to be, Thursdays from now on. It seems like a good day. So we're going to be sticking to Thursdays rather than the Wednesdays or anything like that. So hopefully you guys are able to tune in every week around this time, normally every week. So mark that down. But anyway, so yeah, we've got people in the chat. We got about 40 people. So hi, Veronica. Hello, Flashverse. Hello, Sarah Varga. Hello, Dark Shadow, Canadagraphs, Rachel, and everyone who just joined. And Gary has sent in the first super chat. Thank you, Gary. Thanks for showing up as per normal. Gary's question is on the screen right now. This is what's going to happen to all of them because I figured out last week how to feature on the video on the stream. So Gary's first question comes in. He says, with the 199 super chat, is the Flash getting delayed later than February? So is it getting delayed later than February? This is the classic question. We don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it seems very likely that Gary thinks it might happen. So, we'll see. But yeah, as I've said before, February seems like a good date. I don't think they're going to delay the Flash later than February at any point due to them actually delaying because of Superman and Lois. The Flash is on track for their season premiere in mid-February. So, no, they're not going to delay. All right, now let's move on and let's welcome some more people in. So we got Walker Dead in the chat. We have Helena, Christopher, Kareem, Mohammed, Crazy Life is True, Owen. Yes, so we have a lot of people over here. I'm just trying to figure out my camera and where to put it. But anyway, thank you for the first super chat, Gary. Thank you so much, and thank you to all of you. Remember, you can do your super chat questions, or you can send in your questions through the chat if you can't do super chat, which is totally fine and reasonable. But if you can do super chat, the way to do it is via doing what Gary is doing right now. And so I'm going to share my screen. This is how you do it. You click on show your support and you click super chat, and you can put however much or as little as you want, and you type in a question. Is the Flash getting delayed? So you can type that in and send. So that's how you do it if you want to. Okay, so Gary sends in another super chat, 199. Thank you, Gary, for supporting the channel as always. Gary says, are you mad at me? So this is the classic question every single week. Am I mad at Gary? I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet, Gary. Like, I feel like I'm a little bit mad, but not completely mad at you yet. So we'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, Gary, I'm a tiny bit mad. Maybe later I'll be even madder at you. All right. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, Gary. It means so much to me. So we have more questions in the chat. More people saying hi. Welcome, Keith. Welcome, Cal. Welcome, Vera. Oh, Vera is here. And no problem, Crazy Life is True. You helped out my channel with the offset photos. well, I think you could probably thank Canadagraphs for that, but if you're made aware of them by me, that's cool. Glad to do that. And hopefully, if it was Canadagraphs that you saw his photos, hopefully you check them out, because he has a lot more on his website and his Twitter. Okay, so I saw someone in the chat ask a question to do with, is Legends the one to go next? Because recently we got an announcement that a lot of our shows are ending this season. So that is Supergirl a few months ago, like a month to 2 months ago. And then this week we literally got Black Lightning, or was it last week? I don't know. So yeah, we got the announcement that Black Lightning is the next to go. And so with that, and for a long time, people have been speculating that basically Legends is the one to go, because basically since season 4, Legends has been on a downhill streak and they haven't had much that is very good. I know some people like season 5, but pretty much most people don't like season 4 unless you hated season 1, 2, and 3, because season 4 is like a whole new show, right? So is the rumors true? Is Legends the next to go? Well, no, it's not. But in all likelihood, I just saw Gary's question. I'm sorry. We'll put it on the screen right here. Do you think there'll be a sex scene? It looks like science. You look like you wrote science. I'm sorry. It's a good question, Gary. I like it. Next season. I don't know, Gary. Like, yeah, I guess so. Like, they normally have, like, kissing scenes and stuff, Gary. So, good question, Gary. I'm gonna go back to what I was talking about. Classic old Gary. Yeah, you're gonna get me demonetized, Gary, if I talk too much. All right. So back to Legends. Is that, and thank you for supporting the channel, Gary, as per normal. All right. Yeah, Legends. So what is gonna happen? Well, the rumors are just rumors. That is as simple as you can put it. They are not confirmed. There is no news. There is no sources actually claiming this. That was just, we got this covered. Again, up to the normal shenanigans where they're like, yeah, this show is going to end due to, we got this covered sources. But their sources literally their asses. Like, they're making it up. They're pulling it out their ass. Like, that's their source. Anyway, so it's fake, but that isn't to say that Legends won't end soon, because compared to the other CW shows, it's right in saying that Legends doesn't perform as good as those other ones. And considering, the kind of fan base going a bit downhill, yes, they gained some followers with the new kind of style of the show. People have been believing that it's going to go for a while, and I really do think that Legends is the next show to go, even though there is no confirmed sources. That is just me theorizing as of right now. So hopefully that answers your questions. And yeah, but anyway, so sorry for not answering your question fully, Gary, but I mean, one can only say a little bit. All right, so yeah, keep on sending in your questions in the live chat if you're watching live. Obviously, if you're watching on playback, like I know a lot of you guys do afterwards, thank you for watching. Leave a like and a comment, and leave your questions about all of this that we talk about in this whole kind of hour session. And so, yeah, let's talk about some of the other topics. And you guys, again, can send in any questions you want via the chat or super chat. It's up to you, and whatever you can do is much appreciated. And I see that there are loads of questions in the chat, and I'll get to them. But I did have a topic that I wanted to discuss first. And so they're in the title. There's a few topics I wanted to talk about. And welcome, Reverse Gary. Welcome to the stream, Gary Newbury. But we'll talk about the topics in just a second, because it's right in. Gary has sent another super chat, and this time it is not going to get us demonetized. Okay, so Gary says, do you think Flash will go on break after 3 episodes? That is what Gary means. So I like your point, Gary. I think maybe it could happen, but There's going to be a break sometime in the season, I would say, but I would probably not say after 3 episodes. But I get your thinking, Gary, in that I'm pretty sure, you know, like the way you're thinking about it is, oh, these 3 episodes were intended for the end of last season. And so, you know, naturally you would go on a break after the kind of finale. But we know it's not a finale. So, no, I don't think they're going to go on a break then. Even though it should act as a finale, it will be a final battle with Eva and everything like that. And we'll get to the topic in just a second in regards to the new cast member and what I need to talk about with that. So don't worry, for all of you asking in the chat, try and avoid spamming. It's just, it doesn't work in the chat. But anyway, so that is my answer to you, Gary. I'm pretty sure that, yes, it would make sense to have a break after episode 3, but I don't think they're going to do that. So thank you for the super chat once again, Gary. Much appreciated for all your support with the channel. All right, so let's talk about this question that people have been talking about in the chat. And this is the question of, who is this new cast member? Well, you remember last week we did a video and I made another theory video the other day about this guy, this Nick guy, who had been cast. People going crazy online because basically he announced that he was in the cast and he'd been cast, and like he got the go-ahead to say, oh, I'm in Supergirl season 6. And then obviously as soon as we got that announcement, people did their research. I did my research. I know Canadagraphs did his research and stuff. And then my sources told me that it wasn't a villain. That was speculation because this Nick guy is very heavy into kind of fitness, and that's what his Instagram is about. So people were kind of suggesting like, oh, like he's pretty strong and stuff. Like, could he be a villain? Because, you know, villains normally pose a physical threat. And so, that was confirmed to not be anything. And it was confirmed he would be only a minor character. And it was just confirmed today that this Nick guy, I forgot his surname, but basically he's wrapped already. I mean, he announced he was in the show last week. That means he is filmed for like a few days max, like 2 to 3 days max, probably, because there was the weekend and everything like that. So I reckon he's filmed from, 2 days this week, literally. Like, he is a tiny part of this show. I can't say who he is playing. I know what character he is playing, but all I can say to you guys is he's tiny. He is literally he's a nothing character. I don't know why he announced it. I guess it's cool and get some attention, but it's possibly, like Canadagraphs says, like, is literally like a 1-day shoot, maybe 2 at max, 2 to 3 at max. I would say probably 2 is the max, but I know, I'm sorry, but I know who he's playing, and who he's playing is tiny. Absolutely tiny. So you're not going to be seeing much of him. He's been overhyped, and he's been hyping people up by asking them for theories and stuff. That was interesting. Obviously, we made a video on one of those theories the other day, and so I can reveal to you guys that he is Kara's new husband, who's going to be there for 1 episode. Take that as you will. But okay. So that is answering the main question. Yes, he's a very, very small role, and he did like a 1-day max shoot, and he wasn't even a main character. So he's a very, 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 very minor character. So if you got any questions about that, let me know in the chat. And if you have any more questions, just send them in and let me know. Okay, and yes. All right, I'm going to answer a few of the questions in the chat, and if any other super chats come in, we will be stopping and talking about those. And Canadagraphs says, we got this covered. Wrong is starting to write their article about Kara's new husband now based on that clip. I hope they do. I really hope they do. Yeah. this confirmed, guys. Kara's new husband for one episode, and he just did a 1-day shoot. It's confirmed, guys. Anyway, I got revealed. My light fucked up. One sec. Guys, this is technical issues. Technical issues, one sec. We good. my red thing on my light literally just fell on me. That's what. Like, you see there's a kind of bit of red light. I was trying to change it up, and it literally just fell on me. So, I think last week I smacked something at the side. This week this falls on me. I mean, this is what happens when you're watching the DCTV show live. Very clumsy. Yeah, Kara's new husband. No, I was lying about that. That is not that is not true. He's literally playing no one. He's playing a tiny, tiny character that you won't even remember when you see the episode. That's as much as I can say. Obviously, I can't tell you who he is specifically, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, keep sending in your questions, and I'll answer a few more of these. All right, see you later. Crazy life is true. See you in a bit. Will there be an elongated man in season 7 of The Flash? Yeah, that's a good question, and the answer for you is there is going to be a new version of the elongated man who will be at the start of the season, but won't be there, later on. He will be in for one episode, and then he will leave. Essentially, it's going to be an in out, say bye, let some fans say bye, and that's about it. So yeah, it's going to be very, very, very small with this new recasting. But yes, elongated man is getting recast, and so you won't be seeing much of him. No problem. Is Zoom returning for the 150th episode? Yeah, I would really like Zoom to return. Like I mentioned, the 150th episode is coming up, and it's going to be the penultimate episode of the season, that being the second to last episode. And I mean, maybe Zoom comes back. I would really like that. But I think it's still up in the air as to what's going to happen in that specific episode. But it should be something big. I'm expecting something big, but nothing's been confirmed yet. So, yeah. Okay, so, all right, let's move on to our next topic. Just after we do this, just as a reminder, you guys can send in your super chats via clicking this and super chat. And you can type in your question, and your question will be answered straight away. And you can type in whatever the hell you want. All right, and then you just send it. Okay, so, all right, let's move on to the next topic. So we've got some good topics in the chat right now. But first things first, I wanted to talk about what I put in the title to do with Flash Season 7 suit. Because most seasons of The Flash, we get to see a new version of his suit or an upgraded version of his suit most seasons. So are we expecting some differences? I would say probably we're expecting a little change here and there, but I don't see a big new suit change this season. Maybe the golden boots, like Christian just said in the chat. I think that was kind of what I was thinking this season. Something like that could possibly happen. Welcome, Paul. Welcome to the chat. So that is a possibility, but I don't know if that is going to happen. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Do you think Barry's going to get a new suit this season or an upgrade? I think it's more likely he's going to get an upgrade. Even though I would like him to get a new suit, because I would say, I'm not the biggest fan of his last season's suit. I think they need to go back to more of what they had in the past few seasons, like, in season 4, 3, 2, and part of 1. I think the kind of material that they had before was much better. This one looks a lot thinner, and it kind of looks a bit more like a cosplay kind of suit. But I mean, I still like it. It's an upgrade from that terrible helmet without the chin strap. It just looks so bad in that season. But yeah, even though I like season 5, that Flash suit was terrible, and it's still pretty much the same Flash suit, but they've added the chin strap. So yeah, I think they need to change the suit, in my opinion. Season 2 suit was my favorite as well. They had that in season 3 as well, Flash time. And at the time in season 4, I was like, oh, that suit, I'm not so sure, because I loved the past suit in season 3 and 2. So I was like, oh, is this as good as we're gonna get, like, the season 4 suit? But now looking back at the season 4 suit, I'm like, I want that season 4 suit back, because that season 4 suit is better than this one we got now. It's much better than the season 5 one. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, we've got no official word on if we'll get a new suit. I mean, Eric Wallace, the showrunner, has talked about that they want to get to a point where they can have the golden boots and everything. He's mentioned that, especially with DC fandom. He had one specific question that he answered in regards to that. And yeah, so right now we've got no official word, but that would be cool, I think, for this season at least. All right, Flash First says Grant Gustin has been working out, so the season 6 suit does kind of look better on him since it fits better. However, they should make the emblem bigger. Yeah, I mean, let's try and get the Flash suits up. Maybe we can do a little comparison right now. I'm gonna try and show it, bring it up on the stream. Suit comparison. Flash suits. Okay. You like the season 6 suit? I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan, I don't think. All right, I'm gonna share my screen right now. What's the best way to do this? All right, we're gonna. Okay, well, anyway, it's like a weird tab. Okay, so what do you guys think about this? All right, so here is a comparison that we have. We have this suit, which was from season 2 and 3, and for part of season 1, I believe, or is this a season 3 suit? I'm not sure if this is the best comparison, because we got the season 4 suit right here, and then on the far right, I need to move this. On the far right here, we have yeah. Okay, I'm being stupid right now. Okay, this suit, right? Okay, this is season 1, season 2 suit. I believe this is season 3 suit. So it's tiny upgrade, bit of a change. And then you have here, which is season 4 suit. This is season 5 suit, and it's basically it's a similar suit for season 6, but they have the chin strap here. Yeah. Let me see if I can get a better photo up, because I'm not impressed with these photos, because it's not even in order. Well, this one's literally got all the suits. Okay, we can take out that last one because that's not a suit. All right, here we go. So this was the first one. This was in season 1. Welcome, Marvin, by the way. Welcome to the chat, and welcome to everyone who is here. Remember, you can send in questions via Super Chat, and I'll answer them. But for now, we're just talking about this specific thing. And yeah, so you can send in Super Chats by clicking this, and then clicking the Super Chat and typing in your question. Like Gary question. I don't know where Gary is right now. He hasn't spoken in a while, but is the Flash taking a break after 3? There you go. That's the Gary question right there. And you can send those in, and I will answer the super chats, and they will be featured on the screen like this. There you go. All right. Now let's go back to this image that I had up, because this is the comparison of the Flash suits. I mean, I think you guys should give your rankings of what's your favorite. Definitely the season 2 and 3 suit is my favorite. So if we go to the season 1 suit right at the start, which goes on to this upgraded season 1 suit, yeah, the first one was a bit funky. The eyepiece was a bit weird. It just doesn't look very right to me. And then they fixed it with this. They shaped it to Grant's face a bit more, I think. And they kind of changed this a little bit. But I mean, it's pretty much the same. It just looks better and it suits him better. And you have this nicer cowl, which doesn't look all weird. This one looks a bit weird. And then this one is... So what they did, basically, they went from this suit, but then they changed it to the white emblem. And that was season 3, I believe. And then we move on to season 4, which is this suit. And the season 4 suit, looking back at it now, is good. They added more gold. Yeah, so, I mean, it was a bit of a change, but it was good in the end. And definitely looking back, it's, you know, one of the best ones. And then we went on to this suit, this travesty of a suit. Like, what was this? I don't even know. It's crazy because they had such great suits. Season 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go to season 5 and it's like, ew, what is this suit? So they mucked up the cowl. It's like they've took this cowl and then just made it a helmet or something. And they were like, yeah, it's a good idea to take away the chin strap, and that's what you get. Look at this. It just doesn't look right, in my opinion. It's a bit weird. The suit is very much so like thinner, and it kind of looks not very good. It looks very thin, and they've lost a lot of detail, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at. And then the new suit, they've added the chin strap back. They changed it from being just a pure helmet to more of a cowl, but then they still got the body, and I think the body is a bit off still. So, yeah, not so sure about that. But I'm happy that they fixed their cowl error, because the cowl was so bad here. Like, yeah. Yeah, so will they get a new suit? I mean, they've changed a lot. We've had lots of different iterations. I would love it if they went back to one of these past suits. But I mean, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, we got a super chat question from Gary. We are going to go back to this normal view. Thank you for listening to my little rant about the Flash suits. Gary breaks it up. Yeah, it looks like a bicycle helmet. It actually does. It looks like a helmet. It's like... Anyway, so Gary sends in the 199 super chat question. Thank you so much, Gary. Thanks for supporting. And Gary, right here, says, okay, here we go. He says, do you think, oh my God, here we go. We have a Gary question right here. I'm just translating, guys. Do you think of the shows getting delayed? Then February, he adds in the chat. Look, if I add this is then February. So what do we think of this? Let me translate. Sorry. Do you think the shows getting delayed? I think he means, what do you think of the shows getting delayed later than February? Yeah, I'm guessing that's what it means. Gary, you can confirm in the chat. But yeah, so what do I think of the shows getting delayed later in February? Like I talked about earlier, I don't think the Flash is getting delayed. I think Superman and Lois should stick to that. If they can stick to their current schedule, they will meet it and they won't have to delay. I believe Black Lightning has been filming for a while. We've got so many... What do you think of the shows getting delayed? Yeah, I think that's what he meant. So, anyway, let's continue. I lost my words. Oh, Gary says in the chat, do you think the rest of the shows getting delayed later in February? Yeah. So what do I think about that? Yeah, like I mentioned, Superman and Lois, if they can keep on track, it's fine. They'll be all right. So they won't be delayed. But Lightning's been filming for a while. They're okay. Batwoman, 100% not delayed. They're coming in January anyway. And then you have what else do you have? I think that's it, right? So I don't think there's many delays. And then obviously after we have Supergirl and everything, and they're going to be miles ahead because they're not going to be airing until like May or something like that, or June with Stargirl and everything. And yeah, so no delays, Gary. Doesn't seem like it unless something unprecedented happens in terms of like a shutdown in Vancouver and they have to stop filming and everything is halted. And then at that point, I think there would be a delay. But as of right now, we're okay. And our shows will be okay. Yeah, Gary, I'm not going to reveal where he's from, but he is American. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, Gary, as always. Thank you for regularly sending in the super chats. You're much appreciated right here on this channel. And so if any of you guys have any questions and want to be featured, send in super chats if you can. Obviously, it's not available in every country and it's up to you. But yeah, so thank you, Gary, once again. And let's continue with talking about some more stuff. Flash Time says, all this talk about Arrow getting a season 9, I really hope they just leave Arrow done because bringing it back would just ruin it. Well, that was kind of the thoughts I had when Steven said that he asked to come back, obviously, if everything mucked up with his other show. I really, yeah, I don't know. I was kind of the same. I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, should they... sorry, I got distracted by the chat. Do like let's just put it up on the screen so I don't sound crazy. So I was thinking similar. I was like, Arrow season 9, like it would make no sense. Like if Steven were to return, he has to return on another show. Like, if they ever did Green Arrow and the Canaries or anything like that, or like anything else. So it would just make no sense, and I agreed they should just leave it and bring him back in another way. So yeah, sorry, I completely lost my words. So Gary sends in another super chat. Thank you so much, Gary, for the contributions towards my channel every week. It means the most to me. Okay, so Gary says, you're a good YouTuber. Love you and Paigey and Eric. And in the chat, he says, and cans graphs. We always like that, cans graphs. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you for the compliment, Gary. Paigey, Eric, and cans graphs. They're all very good. I think you guys should all check them out. I'm pretty sure most of you do watch them. I mean, Paigey's bigger than me and everything like that. Eric is got a big supporter base, got a big fan base as well. And then you have Cans of Graphs, who does the fantastic set photos and everything. So go check them all out. They're all fantastic. Thank you, Gary. We love you, Gary. I'm not actually that mad at you today, Gary. So I don't know. Maybe it's all your kindness to me that I'm not mad at you. So keep it up, Gary. All right. Okay, they should do Arrow Season 9. It's the best Arrowverse show. Yeah, I agree, Flashverse, that it's a really good show, but I think it might ruin, the way it ended and, Oliver dying and stuff. It would be a complete retcon, and I think it would be against the whole idea of ending the show. Like, they kind of talked about it like, like it was like a big thing, and they ended it but with these 10 episodes, like special episodes just for you, so we can end the show. And then what happens if it comes back? It kind of ruins it, I think. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Gary says, I watch them all. They're all good. I love it when you guys team up. Well, I love it when we do. I always try and come on their streams. I've been trying a lot more recently because I really have been enjoying live streaming, obviously doing it with you guys. because we do it now every Thursday, and I've been loving this. It's like a great thing. I want to do it more. Like maybe sometimes I'll do an extra stream because it's really good fun. Because we just get to talk about whatever you guys want. And I love joining the after party because, I mean, it's great. Like, I love talking to those guys, and, you know, hopefully in one of these streams we can get, you know, Paige or Eric on at some point. Yeah. Thank you, Flashverse. Okay. Flash Time says something very correct. He says, Canadagraphs is the reason most of us DCTV YouTubers have the ability to make more content about the new seasons, so big ups to them. Yeah, it's completely true. Without the set photos and the information, I mean, it would be pretty much purely speculative right now, apart from the few posts we get here and there about, you know, from the cast members, like taking videos or photos on set. We've seen Nicole Maines take quite a few recently, and those would be our only insights right now. So it's very helpful to have people like Canadagraphs on the set, being able to give us some more content to talk about. And yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, and I think I didn't realize, and I don't know about you, I didn't realize how much I missed the shows, because every year in the summer, it's like, you know, the shows aren't on or anything, but it's like, okay, we can wait till October. Sure, fine. You know, the trailers will come in September and stuff. But this year, it feels like forever, and we still have to go all the way, you know, from all of that. You know, we have to go all the way through December. That's a whole month. We have to go all the way through January. We'll get Batwoman. That's one show. But then we have to go nearly all the way through February to get to another one. So it's like nearly 3 months more. It's like 2 and a bit more months. It's like, oh, I'm missing the shows. I want the shows. You know, I want to talk about them. I want to watch the show. And yeah, it's a shame. And also, it's even worse to think about Supergirl. Like, how far away is it until Supergirl is coming back? It's like a long ass time. It's like, so if the end of February is like 3 months from now, so we got March, April, May, June. So 6 to 7 months until we get Supergirl coming out. It's a long time, and it's a shame, but at least we'll have the Flash. We'll have Superman and Lois starting and everything, and we're going to be covering it on this channel. So yeah. We got a big question in here in the chat from Flashverse, who says, when do we think we'll see Eric Chuck again? I don't know. You need to ask Eric. We've been all advocating for that, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so Canadagraphs is in the chat. Big up to Canadagraphs. All right. So remember, guys, you can send in your super chats via this way. You click this button, you click the super chat, and you can type in whatever question you want. You can be like Gary and type in, is the Flash being delayed? Then you can type in whatever you want, like you make it as long as you want. Much appreciated if you support the channel. I always try and do these updates throughout the stream, just as a reminder to you guys who are just joining, because I am aware not everyone stays throughout the whole stream. So yeah, send in your questions if you can. Also, remember you can send in them via the chat as well. Okay. All right. Canadagraph says he's not going to stream because he's behind a lot of work right now, so probably not this week. It's a shame, but yeah. Danny Wilson says, just finished I'm a Celeb. How are you doing today? I'm good. I'm good. I'm sure I'm a Celeb is good. I haven't watched it in years now. But yeah, that's a big thing in England. So I suppose you're from England then. And Flash Time says, ooh, let's feature this one. I agree, this year has felt so long with the shows, without the shows, like we are used to having them by now. So we would be coming up to the mid-season finale if this pandemic didn't happen. Yeah, it's true. It's a big shame. And I mean, yeah, it's just a huge shame because like we would have had it by now and everything, and yeah. Anyway, I am losing my words. Gary says, okay, miss you guys. Need to do more live stream. I think he's talking about Canadagraphs right there because he said he's not going to be able to stream. That's a shame. I mean, yeah, whenever Canadagraphs is available, he's always welcome to come on the stream. I mean, if you're available now, you can come on the stream if you want. I mean, we don't have too many topics because, you know, there's not that much stuff going on, and I mean, yeah. So we'll try and figure something out with Canadagraphs very soon, hopefully when he's not busy. Are you making these videos from London? Yes, I am. I'm from London, and that's where I live. You gotta love that Anton deck. Oh, it looks like we have Canadagraphs joining the live stream, people. This is a last minute thing. He said send me the link. That would be cool. Spice it up. I'm losing my words. It would be good if we had some updates from Canadagraphs right now. Wow, very cool addition. And we can go on for a bit then. Yeah, so whilst we wait, because it seems like Canadagraphs is gonna hop into the live stream right here. Yeah, so I mean, there's not much news recently apart from the big announcements, but I mean, in terms of Supergirl and the Flash, which is our main kind of area of expertise on this channel that we cover, there's not been that much apart from the Supergirl castings. I've actually got another Supergirl video coming out tomorrow, which I'm very excited about because this is another casting thing, and those casting videos that I broke down in the past few days, they were there was actually one more of those, and this other one is privated and you can't find it online, and we have the details, so I'm excited to talk about that. And so hopefully you guys stick around for tomorrow's video where we will talk about that. And we got Canadagraphs in the live stream right now. Welcome.
Right.
Hello, thank you for joining last minute.
Here still.
Very nice. It's extremely last minute. I was like, you know, as long as you're here, like you can join.
Yeah, I was doing a bit of work and then procrastinating, so this helps me with the procrastinating.
That's good. I'm glad to help. So, how are you doing? What's up with Vancouver and everything?
The city itself right now a little on edge. You know, we're in the middle of our I guess second wave of stuff happening, hitting new records every day in cases. So it's a lot of nervousness all around, and I have a hunch. It's a thin hunch, but I could see on the other side of Christmas, like in early January, I could see them shutting down some things, and
yeah,
you know, the film industry could be on that list, but I don't know if they'd get hit right away.
Yeah, right.
And it kind of sucks for a few reasons. I mean, November, December, January is usually the time of year where I spend very little time at set because it's ugly out, and I'm busy the other side of my business, the autograph side of the business. So I don't have a lot of time to go out, and it's ugly out, so I don't spend a lot of time. But because things started so late this year, I've felt the need to have to go out when things are out.
Yeah.
And then we might get shut down maybe in a couple of months, you know. So
yeah,
it's a very weird year, you know.
No, I get it, and I mean, if I guess the weather's kind of similar to what it is here, and it's very miserable sometimes. It's very, very cold here.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, in terms of shutting down, like they did something similar to that recently here in London, because we got put into a lockdown.
I heard Boris got a little flack for that.
yeah, a lot. Yeah, so we got put into lockdown, but the film industry was okay here. Like they were able to film TV shows and films. They were given a pass. So I don't know about Canada, but we'll see.
I think, like I said, I don't think they would be the first thing hit. I think they would get by for a little while, but if things don't get better fast, eventually have to be like, unless you're essential, you're shut down, right? You know.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I don't know how far down the chain of command TV and film would be, but I don't think they'd be the first thing shut down. But I don't think they would get, I think restaurants would be ahead of them for things that get to stay open, because you need to eat, right? But you don't need to film TV, you know.
Yeah, well, actually, here is different. Like restaurants are all closed; they're all closed, and film and TV gets priority. But yeah. Anyway, Gary sent in a super chat, and it's a question for you. He says, "Canadagraphs, is the Flash getting delayed later than February?" So, what's your answer to that?
Hey, Gary, how you doing? Nope, no, it is not. If it happens, Gary, if you're hearing this on Ben's stream, if the Flash manages to get delayed later than February, I will send you one of my Grant Gustin autographs.
Oh, they're expensive. They're hard to get. Wow, that is saying
a lot. I am that the February 23rd date will be made.
You're pretty convinced.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to ship that to Texas, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's a good answer, Gary. That is how confident he is that it's not going to get delayed. He is offering you one of his Grant Gustin signed things. Wow. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay. So what do you think in terms of, I wanted to ask you about our topic, one of our topics that I came up with about the Flash season 7. Do you think we're going to get any alterations to suit, any new suit? What's your thoughts?
Eventually, I think, because this, again, like, going to be the answer to so many questions for the next few months. Yeah. It's a different type of year. Yeah. I think they might have just went with what they already had to start, and making alterations that big, they work on them for a couple of months or longer, so they might only be now in the process of making the plans to do it. So if we get one, it would be until the back half of the season, I think, but it's not impossible. Because I think every season they've made some type of small alteration or wholesale alteration to the suit.
No, so there's always
stick with that.
Yeah, there's always something, whether it's big or small. Eventually they get around to changing it. Like, I mean, even season 2 to 3, all they did, they changed the emblem from red to white. Literally, like, that's enough to warrant people going crazy. So maybe we will see the boots or not. I don't know.
Yeah, every time I post any type of info on the set, someone in my comment section is like, he doesn't have the red, yellow boots yet. And I'm like, Eric Wallace said he'll get them eventually. He didn't say it was going to be right away.
Yeah. He keeps on saying that. He's very kind of, in the air about like, oh, are we going to get it? But he's confirmed that at some point we'll get it. But yeah, it's not going to be right now, Yeah. Anyway, yes, okay. And so, did you see the casting videos the other day from Supergirl or not?
No, because Supergirl has been, for me at least, here, they're like a ghost. Like, I haven't even heard of them being anywhere. I don't know what's going on with that show. So I've kind of have shuffled the whole cast like off to the side. Like, I know they're in town. But until I like hear some confirmation of anything, like them filming somewhere, or even like, a cast member out somewhere, I kind of they're just in the back of my mind with several dozen other casts that I know are in town. I've been more focused with, Flash, Batwoman, a little bit Legends, Motherland, Fort Salem. Like, these are the shows that are right now have been like controlling my focus, because they're out and about and I'm hearing about them. But Supergirl, I know they're around. I never see them. So I've kind of have just like, anytime an Instagram story from Nicole or Jesse or something comes up, I kind of don't click on it, just because it's probably not going to affect me right away,
Yeah. No, I get that, because I mean, they literally all we've been getting, apart from that Nick guy talking online the other day, but I mean, we all knew that was nothing anyway. Apart from him, that's why people went so crazy, because there's literally been nothing. All it has been is like Nicole posting on set that her doing some TikToks or something. That's literally all we're getting. So
it does look like they've been in studio a lot. Like the couple of times I have across an Instagram story and I've actually clicked on it, it almost looks like they're always in studio. So
no, 100%.
A lot of location.
No,
that's the other thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you go.
Yeah, the other thing with that show is like their studio is out in Langley, which I know nobody watching has a clue what that means, but it would be like 75 to 90 minutes outside of Vancouver. That's where their studio is. Okay, so they could be out filming in Langley on the street, and no one's gonna probably know. Like no one's traveling an hour out of their way on the hunch they might cross paths with them, right? So stuff like that, anything that happens outside of the physical city of Vancouver, like even honestly, anything outside of the downtown core of Vancouver gets very little attention, and then the further you get away from Vancouver, the less and less attention it gets. So if you're more than 45 minutes outside of the city, you're technically still filming in Vancouver to most people, but it's not Vancouver. Like to us, that's another area,
That's interesting because I never really thought of that until you mentioned Superman and Lois the other day. Because when they're talked about like where do you film, they always say Vancouver. So I'm always thinking like, oh, they're like in the middle of Vancouver somewhere, So that's interesting.
I mean, they're not technically wrong. I mean, they've all filmed in Vancouver at some point. Just most of them film there predominantly. Out of the 5 major studios in the Vancouver area, only one physically is in the city of Vancouver, and it's barely in Vancouver. It's on the border of Vancouver and city over Burnaby. Like most of our studio spaces are outside the city. Like one's in Burnaby, one's in North Vancouver, which is on the other side of an inlet. One's out in Langley. Like nothing is really close to like downtown Vancouver. Like downtown Vancouver, they do your location shoot for big city stuff, and that's about it. Everything else films outside of the city in either little suburbs or the forest. We have a lot of forest here, so we get a lot of forest related shows. And so like that's where a lot of the stuff films. And best case scenario, if you have a car, it's still like 20 minutes to half an hour to any of those locations. And for others, like I said, like you want to go out to the Superman and Lois set, that's 90 minutes away.
No, that's crazy. All right, so Gary has sent in a super chat question. Gary says, if production gets shut down, I have no idea what this means, Gary.
I'm reading it too.
If production gets shut down, how does that mean Flash?
If production gets shut down, could they get delayed later than February? Very unlikely, Gary. As I said, because they've already got like 4 episodes in the can, done, filmed. All they gotta do is any CGI work that's on it. Those are done, so they can air those. Doesn't mean like they might hit that February 23rd date, do like 1 to 3 episodes, and then feel they need to take a break just in case they fall back. That's not an impossible thing. But that February 23rd date, they've now marketed it. They're selling, ad space for that date, and they have the episode filmed. They're going to make sure they hit that date. Outside of something so catastrophic that they feel they need to shut down around that, like, I don't know. Let's say the day of February 23rd, something horrible happens, and it's like why put the show on? Because no one's going to watch it. That's about the only way the show's not airing on the 23rd.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's pretty unlikely. Anyway, we've got this question in the chat that I wanted to bring up. Will the Flash die in season 7? Yeah, that's the question. What do you think? I don't think
Grant has been very vocally talking about that he's almost signed on for season 8 and 9 before the pandemic started. So they are expecting to go on with his character beyond this year, and he's expecting to. and that network loves the Flash. Like, you know, you see people. I mean, you obviously see it too because of Supergirl questions too. But like the questions around ratings on all the shows. At the end of the day, the Flash is the most profitable entity they have. There is no way they're canceling that show unless Grant says, "Nah, I'm good." Like that show, it will go on 10 seasons. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You know, I think 10 might be that point finally where maybe the network will relook at things and be like, okay, we're still making a profit, but we're making less profit. And then it might just come down to how much Grant wants for a season and how much they can make out of it. But I think they're probably still 10.
Yeah, I agree. Vasily in the chat says, "Hey John, hey Ben, how are you doing?" I'm good. I think you're good. Yeah. So in regards to that, 10 seasons, I definitely think. I believe Grant has mentioned like supernatural numbers. He said once, I think.
He said Smallville numbers.
Smallville numbers. How long does Smallville run?
10 seasons.
10 seasons. Okay, so up to 10 at least, like he wants to do. We know that. But I reckon he could go on longer than that, honestly. But
I think it will all come down to where he is in his life at that point. Because the thing that happens, I mean, the Supernatural guys can tell you this. A couple of the other shows that have run long, Tom Welling can tell you this. So when you get pigeonholed into a role for too long, opportunities come and pass you by before you get out of that role. And he might be thinking like, hey, yeah, I can do 11 or 12 seasons of Flash, but when I get out of the Flash, what's out there for me after that? I kind of might need to pull back, get out of here at 9 or 10 to give myself a little more marketability while I'm still kind of young, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think that plays into it. Plus, I mean, we don't know, again, what might happen in 3 years. Say next week we find out his wife is pregnant. Now, obviously, we've seen how that impacted Steven eventually.
Supergirl. And Steven.
Vancouver is a place people don't ideally want to spend a lot of time in that are from LA and other places.
If you have money.
Yeah. But you don't want to fly back and forth. That was Steven's number one issue with filming here was he hated having to spend like 12 hours of his weekend because, you know, he's only got 2 to 3 days off, depending how the schedule lays out. He hated having to spend 10 to 12 hours of his short weekend in transit, you know, because it's not just the flight there and back. It's going to the airport, sitting around in an airport, you know, traveling to your house, traveling back to the airport. So, you know, a third of his weekend is wasted traveling. So that was one of his biggest issues with here was just how much time he had to spend to go get his off time. So I understand people from LA, not wanting to be here long term.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's going to be a bit different this year because most families are going to have to go where one of the, you know, parents are working. Most, not all, because it's going to be harder to travel. So we've talked about this actually in our last live stream we did together. Like, we're pretty sure that Chris is going to be living up in Vancouver with Melissa because Melissa's going to have to be here until August. And I think with the baby and everything, they need to have both of them to be able to look after. And, you know, realistically, Chris's show got cancelled, so there would be no need right now for him to be in America. So I think this season, people are going to have to make that sacrifice, maybe.
I mean, yeah, if you have two working parents like that, like a perfect example right now would be Danielle Panabaker. Now we know Danielle Panabaker's in Vancouver. I have no idea what her husband is doing currently because I do know he has his own law career. So is he back home working or is he up here supporting her in the days off? I don't know. But like when it comes to the holidays, a couple of small changes have happened. Maybe since we talked last, it might have been maybe around then, but our government has made it now that you can come into the country if you're just like a family member, like even if you're a loose family member. So that opens it up a little more for some of these actors who've been complaining, I'm not going to see my family over Christmas. Bring their mom and dad here for Christmas. Now, yeah, their mom and dad will still have to do a 14-day quarantine, but they can at least come here and do that if they want. So there's a little more flexibility than maybe the last time that we were talking about this, but it's still probably not something most, especially the younger actors who want to go party with their friends, are going to be excited about, you know. So,
yeah, that's very true.
Just an odd year all around. I'll be back in 1 minute, by the way. So just
okay, sure. Yeah, so just a reminder for you guys, send in your super chat questions. If you do have a question, and you can send in super chats, do it via the chat and it will be answered straight away, however much or however little you want. And then as well, you can just click on that. You can type in whatever question. But yeah, so we have this question in the chat. And so let's go back to this one right here. Okay. Oh my god, I lost my trail of thought. All right, so I think Superman and Lois will take over the Flash in terms of viewership. Flashverse says, what do you have to say about that, Canadagraphs?
Maybe. Here's the thing, and I've said this a few times in my streams. It is Superman and Lois. It's not Superman, and I think that's going to irk some of the hardcore Superman fans, and they might not stick with it long term because they're not going to want to show where he's literally where Superman, not Clark, but Superman is literally in it for like 15 to 25% of the show.
Yeah,
because it's going to be a split between Superman, Lois, the kids, maybe secondary characters we don't know about. Yeah, he's the title character. He's the lead title character. I just don't think hardcore Superman fans, they're probably excited there's a Superman show, but they might get annoyed quick with how little he's in it compared to an old Superman show.
Yeah, that's true.
If they stick around, like if the show can manage to keep them entertained and keep them around, yeah, it will pass The Flash eventually, maybe even this season. I think, first seasons are always, come out like gangbusters, so Superman and Lois should pass The Flash in ratings right off the bat. Whether or not by the end of the year they're still ahead of them is a different question. I think there's a chance they do, but that'll all depend on, like I said, how well they can keep your hardcore Superman fans around. Because if it's just CW fans that are tuning in, that show it's going to survive because it's still got the Superman label on it. But it's going to be, I think The Flash will still be more marketable than it. But if they can keep Superman fans happy enough to stick around, it's a hit. It'll probably be the biggest hit this network has right now.
Yeah. I always thought that it was going to do well. But at the same time, you've seen a lot of these new shows come in. Obviously, Batwoman did well, right? But it didn't do better than The Flash, is what I mean. So I don't know. I just can't see a show overtaking The Flash anytime soon. And yes, it's Superman, but I think the fact that, if it was like Henry Cavill as Superman as a TV show, that would beat The Flash instantly. I just kind of don't know if there is the fan base yet for it to instantly overtake The Flash. Even though he is Superman, and yes, Superman fans will hopefully tune into the show, I don't think it's going to be enough to boost it past The Flash, because The Flash, I don't know, yes, it wasn't the most known character before, because there wasn't many iterations on screen, but now The Flash has cemented itself. So, I don't know, I just find it hard to visualize.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, Superman is still Superman. You have like Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. I'll even throw The Flash in there. Like, these are your core properties for DC.
Yeah.
If you throw one of them on a TV show, it will succeed. Whether it's the best show on the network or whether it's just a show that is not likely or is safe from getting canceled, those are different questions. But those four properties, you could throw them on TV, mediocre writing, mediocre acting, and they're still going to pass by for a few years. Like they will get their 4 to 6 years out of them with mediocre success.
Yeah.
Where Superman could be better is, honestly, if they can keep the Superman fans tied in and it has a good storyline. That show could do Flash at its peak performance. And I think there's even a little room for them to pass it. That said, like I said, I think because of the fact it's going to be sharing with Lois and the kids, you might have a little trouble keeping your hardcore Superman fan who only wants the Superman stuff there a long time. And it'll still be a successful show. It's still going to get 4 to 6 years, but it might not pass the Flash if they can't keep the Superman fans happy.
Yeah, I agree. I just pulled up, this is a new look at Superman and Lois. I mean, you can't really tell much. I don't know if I can zoom in. No, I can't. But yeah, this is just Elizabeth or Bitsy to look. I always get confused. Her name's Elizabeth, right? But
her real name's Elizabeth, but yeah, she goes by Bitsy too.
Okay, so anyway, she shared this just behind the scenes photo. I mean, it doesn't really show much. It's just a screen, the red camera, very cool camera. And it's just the sons, and that is Tyler right there. So, I mean, they're busy at work, and you said before that they have their own like town that they've made. It's like proper compound, and so they're busy down there, I guess. Have you seen them out again since?
No, just that one and only time that I happen to get them is the one and only time I've known them being anywhere on location. I mean, I think I even said it on your chat the last time that I was here. I don't expect to see them. In fact, funny enough, last time I was on here was the night that I got them. I was on here saying to you, I don't expect to see them out much. And that night was when they were on location. So who knows? Maybe I'll stumble across them tonight. But no, they, like I said before, they've got a 3-block wide compound, and it's on an old fairgrounds, which obviously isn't in use because of the pandemic. So they have that place to themselves. Like they don't even have to worry about like sharing the parking lots with people going to the fair. They just own that place right now. So there's going to be nothing to be seen out there. And then they have their actual studio, which is where like you would get like interior of their house. The interior of any offices they have would be at the studio. So that's, again, probably another chunk of their stuff. They might have to go on location, honestly, 3 to 6 times in a season if they do it right,
We'll see. That's crazy. You literally went out after and you literally saw it for the first time. You're like, nope. You're going to see it like once this year. And then that's it. But how do you spot it? I know there's notices on the street, right? But how did you know to go for Superman and Lois?
So with that one, you've been on Twitter enough. You've probably seen some of the people I interact with and get some of the tips from. Like, there's a site called What's Filming that posts a lot of the information. And in Vancouver, we have things that they're film codes. They're signs that are probably about that wide. That high. They're rectangular white signs with an arrow on it, and on them they'll have some type of letter coding on them. Those letter codes usually tell you what the show is if you know what they stand for. So Superman and Lois's production is done by a production company called Manly Shore Productions. So someone saw a sign for MSP, M Manly, S Shore, P Productions. Like no one knew what it was yet. Right away, I looked down my list of production companies. I'm like, the only one that has the initials MSP is Manly Shore Productions. So I just assumed that was them. I didn't know, but I was very confident it was going to be them. And went there, and sure enough, it was.
That's crazy.
It's having done this long enough, I know what I'm supposed to be looking for. Now, once in a while, I'll get it wrong. Like, we've had a couple of times where there's been overlaps because some production companies will run more than one production. We have a company here called Stage 49 who they do a million little things. They used to do Once Upon a Time, and they've had 1 or 2 other smaller things. So there has been times where they've had 2 Stage 49 productions going at the same time. And then the difference comes down to what color the arrow is. So, I mean, I've made the occasional mistake thinking I'm going to a production to find out it's the wrong one. But that one I was pretty sure I was going to be right about.
Yeah, well, that's good. No, that's actually
Gary's curious if you're mad at him.
Gary's curious if I'm mad at him. Yeah, I think we're a bit mad at you now, Gary. I mean, after all this time, who isn't a little bit mad? What about you? What about you? Are you a bit mad?
No. Gary's a good guy. He is probably he's probably kept at least a couple of the channels afloat through the pandemic, you know?
That's true.
I'm not like he has been very supportive of everybody, and he is one of those guys that you know, without him, I mean, I personally, like I've said it before, you know, in the early days of the pandemic, I used to say it all the time on my channel, like, you don't need to give me a super chat. I mean, if you do, I will absolutely make sure I answer your question, but I usually try to get through all of them.
Yeah.
But I always used to say, like, there are other channels out there where there's people who that's literally what they do for a living. That all they do is make videos, and maybe they've lost a job, and now making videos is even paramount more important to them. If you've only got, like, you know, $5 that you want to support someone with, they probably can use it more than I can. But, like, you know, at the same time, someone like Gary, he's one of those guys. If Gary wasn't out there week in, week out supporting me on all the live streams, I still do some of them, but I might only do them for like half an hour or an hour.
Yeah.
I usually try to base my live streams around, you know, I want to treat it as half just hanging out and chatting, and half as trying to justify a financial reason for being there. So, you know, when Gary comes in and he's supportive and he's, you know, asking the same 2 or 4 questions he asks, that gives me the room to spend more time just hanging out and chatting with everybody else too, you know. And he is easily, you know, the best known one out of the bunch out there now, you know. Between Eric's channel, your channel. Oh, Eric's here. Hey,
Eric, he's here.
I just noticed it in the bottom corner.
But
he's one of the best.
I agree. Yeah, like, he's one of the best known people out there, and you're right. He's been supporting all of us very well over the pandemic, and I say this every time. He's really appreciated, because I mean, he's supporting what we do, and I mean, anything, like I always say, is just crazy to me that you would want to, and it's very nice. So we appreciate you. Eric says, I'm just waiting for Canadagraphs to show us some super cool behind the scenes photos. Yeah.
You have to get those from my OnlyFans.
Oh. And do we get the twerk video as well with that?
Nope. I am not doing that.
I don't know.
Is Eric, are you going live today? I thought you were supposed to be live today.
Not sure. I think. Wait. So Eric's time zone is just a bit hard to figure out.
6 o'clock there.
6 o'clock.
Yeah. It'd be 10 to 6 in his time zone.
Yeah, because right now it's 10:51 here in the evening, and so it's always a bit strange with American time to English time. I think it's a bit easier for Canada.
I used to have for a long time. I had a couple of Post-it notes on the top of my computer telling different time zones. I had, you know, like, I know North American ones because I just have always just had that information ingrained in my head.
Yeah.
From watching a lot of sports. But like London, I had that one up there. I know you guys are +8. Australia, you know, they're +17. And then I had other ones like Japan, India, a couple other ones like up there. But the Post-it note lost its stickiness and fell off, so now I'm just guesstimating.
Yeah.
Because it does matter that what time of day you put some content up, you know, like doing it at 7 p.m. my time. I mean, that's 7 p.m. here. That's like 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning your time. Like no one's really paying attention to YouTube at that time. So you gotta kind of plan the schedule a little bit, you know. So you need to know what other time zones are efficient.
Oh, we got Eric joining.
Oh,
we're gonna have another person. This just started off as a normal live stream when I was just talking. I was like, Canadagraphs, do you want to come? Eric, do you want to come? So I guess I'm gonna send Eric the link. Nice surprise for all of you guys, I guess. So Eric is normally doing his live stream today, I believe, because I remember last week after I finished, I remember that he was going to do his, and then I've been watching them every week. They're very, very good with your brother and I think your friend as well. And so if you guys have checked them out, they're very good because it's not mainly DC, it's like a whole mix, and I like that. So I've been tuning in every week.
yeah, I'll usually go in for like, it's obviously out of my depth because I'm not as knowledgeable in all those other parts of it, but I'll usually watch it for 20 minutes to half an hour because it helps give, like, I do learn some things by watching other ones, you know?
Yeah.
Not everybody follows exactly the same stuff as you will. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I would never, I lost my train of thought.
No, I always do that. No, but it's the same for me because like when I do these live streams, I try and answer as many questions from all the other shows because, you know, on my channel, it's mainly The Flash and Supergirl, right?
Yeah.
But on these live streams, I take it as a chance where I can talk about these other shows. And I like that about Eric's new one because I keep on just go into it, even though I'm not knowledgeable about gaming and stuff. You know, the new Spider-Man game they've been talking about and a few other things. It's just interesting to listen to. I don't know why, but it is. Yeah. It's just fascinating. Anyway, so I think Eric will be joining in a minute. Oh, he is here. He is here. Welcome, Eric.
Welcome
to the live stream. 3 people. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Nah, good. Yeah, this started as just me, and now we got both of you.
Yeah, I just finished. It's a holiday here, but a lot of people aren't doing anything big because of COVID. So yep. So we just got done with dinner, and yeah. So, but the people that normally stream with me, my brother and my friend Josh, they're both unavailable. So yeah. So yeah, that's going on. So.
But it is Thanksgiving, right? Today, I'm really bad at that.
It is, but it's not like it's a holiday where it's like weird because people do things at different times of the day. Like we had one person over because we're trying to like, you know, not overdo because of COVID and everything. So we had one person come over and we did our dinner like 2 hours ago. So so yeah, we were trying to limit it. I don't know how many other families are doing that, but I know that we definitely didn't want to have a bunch of people over here. So
no, that's responsible of you.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the rest of my country is not doing that, though. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of people that are not listening. Sure. So
I've seen the photos of the airports. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So one of the things I've said is that I understand that they want to sort of limit, or the government is trying to limit like interactions and exposure. The only problem is, I think at this point, if you've decided you're not going to listen, there's nothing that's going to change your mind. So I understand what they're trying to do, but I just don't think that people are going to do the right thing because they feel like it's morally good. Because if that's the case, then we wouldn't be where we are right now. So
yeah.
I think it would have helped if you had like, it's only a regional, like here in British Columbia, but like our health minister, Dr. Bonnie Henry, in the early days of the pandemic, she was being lauded by like everyone as like the best. Like even New York Times wrote an article about her because she was getting the message across to most people. She was being cautious but not aggressive in telling people what to do. The problem now is we are several months into this. Everybody that listened to that message has fallen in line. Those people you don't need to tell them anymore.
Right.
It is that 10 to 15% of people that don't get the message from someone that has that tone. She's kind of soft, calm, nothing is a panic
Yeah.
personality. And I think it's like I know neither of you guys are probably that big of sports guys, but it's like a coach for a sports team. Her message is getting lost now. You know, people are tuning her out. They need someone with a more stern, aggressive, forceful tone to get the message across to more people. And I think that's the same in the US, except different in the case because your leader was literally telling people, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, well, actually, the biggest problem with the U.S. is that, and I don't know how it is in the UK or Canada, but here, the president decided to just leave it up to states. They were like, we're just going to let states make decisions. There was no federal response to this at all. And I do believe that's probably the first big mistake that was made, was that there wasn't anything federally that was done. So it ended up it would be different if each state was somehow disconnected from each other, but there are people that work in another state that live 5 minutes from me.
Yeah, especially like Virginia and DC. Like you guys.
Yeah, I mean, everything is so close and connected that by not doing a federal response, it sort of dropped the ball. Because I think a lot of the places where you're seeing like less outbreaks and less problems are the places that had a very strong start on this, and then they've sort of let up over time, whereas like places that didn't are still dealing with it like we are. So, but the good news is that we're close to getting our shows back. I'm excited about that. I mean, that's something that I'm looking forward to, because we're going to be getting Batwoman very soon, and then Black Lightning, and then of course Superman and Lois and the Flash. So I'm really, the next couple of months could be pretty good. I mean, we're looking forward to that. And I want trailers. I want more stuff. Like, give me more things. We got a little teaser of Batwoman, but very little. I mean, it's the smallest teaser they could possibly do.
Right. Okay. I touched on this on my chat the other day. So we got that original first teaser, the one where she drops down and goes boo. I was like, okay, that's great. You're getting people a little interested. You're letting them know it's coming soon.
Right.
I expected the next thing I would get out of them is a 15 to 30 second piece.
Yes.
And instead we got another 6-second piece. And I'm just kind of like, man, okay, we know you've already let us know stuff is coming. You need to give us a little more than that.
I will say that I looked at that little teaser and I made a video on it, but then after about like 4 minutes of the video, I'm like, I mean, I could ramble for another 4 or 5 minutes to make a full video out of this, but it just wasn't enough time. I mean, it really wasn't. I've seen people make, like, honestly, I'm not one of those channels where I can look at something less than 10 seconds and make like a 12 or 20 minute video about it. I just can't do it. So I tried to do it. I was going to put it up on the day that the Black Lightning news came out, which I think was Friday. That was the day I was going to put up the Batwoman video, and then the Black Lightning news dropped. So then I thought, well, who cares about this Batwoman teaser now? Because this is a much bigger story. So I covered that one instead. And then somebody asked about the Batwoman video, I think Tuesday night. And I'm like, okay, I'll go back and try to do the video again. And just, I'm sitting there. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Like, give me a full trailer. Give me a 30-second trailer so I have something to look at.
I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, like it was very, there was no, I think the only point was to show some first look footage, but if you're going to do it, do more than 6 seconds, Like, I don't know.
Or combine the other one with this one. Make it 12 seconds, make it 15 seconds, something.
And that one wasn't even released online. That was just purely on the CW as well. Right. So like, I was like, can I even talk about this? Like, I'm not going to put the trailer in my video. Like, is it going to get cut down? I was the same when I was making my video. I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, can I make this a proper video? But then I combined it with something else. And I was like, sure, like, whatever.
Let me ask you guys this. Are you surprised? Because I was fully convinced, and we might still see something, that by the end of November, we would be getting more promo material for the shows, considering they're so close to like coming out. I mean, I'm a little bit shocked that we haven't seen more. Are either of you surprised that we're not seeing more stuff? I mean,
I'm not really. I've said this a few times in my chat. I thought the first stuff we would get would be Batwoman, because obviously they're first out of the gate. And I estimated it would be in November. I didn't know when in November. I just estimated in November. So judging by the timeline, I think we probably won't get Black Lightning until maybe early December, and then we might get the Flash. They might put the Flash off until after Christmas break, just because it'll get lost in Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I could see them dropping it shortly before Christmas.
Well, I'm not surprised we haven't gotten something like Batwoman, like a little 6-second teaser or something for these other shows. But I don't know. What about you, Ben?
I was kind of in the same mind as you, Canadagraphs, because I was like, when the shows were all set to come out in January, I kind of looked at it as in like, when Comic-Con comes out, like there's like a month and a bit, and then the shows would come out normally. So I was kind of similar. I was thinking, oh, November is going to be the time when we're going to get the trailers. But then it was confirmed that the Flash got delayed, and Superman and Lois, and like even Black Lightning's in February.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not coming out in November. So
what about suits though? We should have seen a Superman suit reveal by now. I feel like they should have done a poster for that. So
apparently they took photos, but
I mean, I don't know. Just like when that Batwoman one, remember that guy got the video from like his 3rd floor balcony, and we all kept thinking like, all right, tomorrow there's going to be a Batwoman suit, and they put it up for like weeks.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the Superman one. Like I got that video. I thought, all right, Monday morning we're going to see something from them, and then they deliver, and I'm kind of like, what's going on with them here?
I don't know. Like normally, so this is one of the things I've kind of been struggling with a bit. Is it was easy previously to predict their patterns on how they were going to do stuff, because you kind of knew like, okay, this episode's coming out this week and this should drop this week, and all these other things. Like you kind of knew that was going to happen, so it was easy to predict that kind of stuff. But now it's like even the scoopers are having trouble scooping stuff, because you don't know, like, is a trailer going to come out? Is it not going to come out? And then we had the news about Wonder Woman going to HBO Max and theaters at the same time, which was also crazy. Like, it's just right now, I think the most exciting thing is that I have no idea what's going to happen. So every day I wake up, I'm like looking at the news, like, what is the story going to be today? So
well, it's a little concerning too, because you don't know. You like, how many times have you been like, all right, nothing happened today. Okay, I can go do things. And you come home and you got 7 DMs and like, you're like, what happened? And it's like, oh, this got released.
Well, like Ray Fisher taking credit for Joss Whedon, like that news that actually, from what I've heard, I did a little bit of investigating. The actual series, like the filming of the series and everything, wrapped up like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
No,
so
I know.
So how would that? It doesn't even line up chronologically, but he's taking credit for it. So I'm like, okay.
It doesn't make any sense. I know actually someone who was working on that set in London, because that's in London. And they, as far as I know, a few weeks ago, I asked them, I was like, because I knew Joss was working on it. So I was trying to get some information, how he is on set and stuff, and then they were like, oh yeah, like we're finishing, like we're set to finish really soon. So then this news comes out. I'm like, huh? And then I messaged the person who's working on the set, and they said, you knew before me. I didn't even know this, so I have no idea what's going on.
Well, I just think it's crazy because again, I've slowly gone from like in the center of the whole story with Ray, and thought, maybe there is some truth to it. The problem is you can only tell me the sky is falling so many times. Like I'm going to be like, okay, like, all right, like what's the situation here? At this point, with everything that's happened, there's no reason for him to just not come out and tell us like what happened. Like there's no reason at this point. Before it was an NDA, and then the NDA thing kind of expired. And then he said, well, I heard from someone else, which is basically secondhand information, that they wanted to change the color of my character on screen. Okay, that's not enough, honestly, for you to do all this. Like that doesn't make any sense either. And then he's saying, oh, well, no, some other abuse happened on set. And then there are people who support him who weren't there for reshoots, and they're saying, oh, we believe you, but they weren't there. And like when he came out and said that, oh yeah, well, this is why Joss is getting let go. The only reason he even did that, the only reason he even said that is because who's gonna dispute that? Is Joss gonna come out and say something? Like no one's gonna come out and talk about that in a way that would like question his credibility, because the minute he's proven wrong, you're going to get hundreds of people on Twitter going, but I stand with Ray Fisher. They're lying. Yeah. Obviously Ray's telling the truth and they're lying. So it's like, that whole story is so ridiculous to me. Like, just tell us what happened. Give me an opportunity to make a decision on who I want to side with without me just blindly agreeing with someone who now has literally said that his anger is from secondhand information, which is ridiculous to me.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I'm just confused about it. I think I think maybe it was kind of sincere at first, and then it didn't go his way or something. And now it's about publicity. It really feels like it, because I mean, it's kind of like I trust the guy, I believe the guy at first, but then now all of this, like, you know, like everything you just literally said, like, why aren't you revealing what happened properly? You say that from a secondhand source. Apparently they were trying to color grade you to be different. I don't know what they were trying to do, if they were just purely changing his pigment of his skin.
He never said. That was the thing. It was a very ambiguous and vague statement.
So like they could have just like, you know, added a bit of red or something.
So Ben,
like that.
Ben, you know about film, and this is what was said about this, like in terms of like filming. And I don't know a lot about post-production in terms of like what a director would go in and do, but apparently several people came out and said that coloration changes in film happen on every single movie. It's not something that was just specific to this film. Directors will go back in and go, I don't like that color light, change that color, or I don't like the color of that, the shadows on that character's face, so can you make that lighter or whatever? Like, those are things that happen all the time. So this wasn't unique to Justice League. No,
it's not unique at all. I literally, so I'm still at university doing film, and that's literally my job. Like, I'm a cinematographer and I'm a color grader. I change the colors, and I literally do that. So it's a thing that happens in every film, no matter how small your production is to no matter how big it is. Obviously, if you're in a huge production like Justice League, what they're going to do, they're going to color. You've seen the trailers. Half of it was red at first, and then it changed colors to
completely different. Completely, it was blue. It went from totally red to like navy blue, bright blue.
Exactly, and so this is a normal thing. So that spikes up a big question initially, especially for me, because I was like, color grading happens all the time. Unless he was changing you to be a white person.
Right,
You were doing something absolutely insane to his character.
Which, by the way, if that was actually what was happening, if there was 100% proof that that was going on, this story would have not gone away. But it's kind of vanished now. That story's kind of vanished because it was secondhand information, and that was not what happened. But just throwing it out there was enough to get like articles written about it and for people to get buzz going about it. And he knew exactly what he was doing with that story. So it makes me like, this is why I question the credibility. And there's so many other people that I don't question. Like, for example, John Boyega, like obviously his situation was completely different, and he was shafted in a lot of ways by the studio. And I get that. And I believe his story. So it's not that I just automatically take the side of a studio or a director. It just comes down to, do you sound like you're giving us the whole story or do you not? And John Boyega he put everything out. He said everything. I mean, he went after the studios. He went after other people on set. Like, he put everything out there. So I just find it weird that Ray is giving us breadcrumbs. Like, every couple of weeks there's another breadcrumb, and every couple of weeks there's another breadcrumb. So that's sort of why I have an issue with it. And every day, like we were talking, like what sparked this was we were talking about waking up and seeing what's going to be on the news. Like, every week I'm just waiting for the next Ray Fisher chapter to drop. Like, what chapter are we on now? Chapter 9? Like, I mean, oh man, yeah. That's really what it is. And it's just so unfortunate because right now, like, Warner Brothers and DC are trying their best to, honestly, in a lot of ways, more than what Marvel is doing, and because they're trying their best to get content out to people, and Marvel really isn't doing that. I mean, they're filming their DCTV shows, they're releasing Wonder Woman on HBO Max and in cinemas. These are all things that Marvel isn't doing. So I feel like DC is doing a lot to really give back to their fans, and you've got this negative story that just will not go away with this. And it's unfortunate that every week you have to guess what chapter of the story you're going to get. So,
but it's also weird because he is still employed by Warner Brothers as well. So I'm really confused why, if he's literally shitting on the company, right? And their management, essentially. He's still employed, but then he's still saying this. It doesn't make sense. You're on the payroll of this company you're accusing.
And you're trying to cause the company to fail, but you're working for the company. Also, it doesn't make sense that the company would continue to work with you. So it's just the whole situation is really, 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 really weird. Like, I'm pretty sure the only reason he's even on the Justice League set right now is that they would look bad if they didn't welcome him back to film. Yeah. Like, that's probably the biggest thing. Because according to what Zach was saying, most of the footage for Cyborg that was left on the cutting room floor is going to be back in the it's going to be in his cut. Like, so I don't think there was a lot of Cyborg to reshoot. So he's back. Yeah. Who knows how much is going to be there. But yeah, so you got a super chat. So
well, it's for you. It's for you.
Well, no, but it's like, yes, Paigey needs to join. I don't know. Paigey is probably off somewhere in Tasmania, hunting Tasmanian devils, flexing about how many game systems he has, talking about his Jeep, talking about how much food he's ordered. I swear every time we go live, he's got like 20 different things sitting in front of him.
He's always in the middle of eating.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's not in here right now just waiting. I'm waiting to see a comment pop up from Paigey where he's going to try and tell me to do something.
He sometimes just pops up. So
yeah, so he's probably somewhere. But
unless he's playing FIFA right now or something.
Oh, you know what? He might be, because it's a big day for game playing right now. Which, by the way, this is totally off topic. I've tried my best to get a PlayStation, and it's just impossible right now. I mean, there's just none. Like, Sony came out and said that they're completely sold out. So good luck.
Yeah, I guess there's no Black Friday down there this year, right?
There's a digital Black Friday, but not
no physical one.
No. So I guess we'll get a double dip. We'll get Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Like, both of them will be like big days or whatever. But I can't get a PlayStation, which is the only thing I really want. I don't need anything else. So I'm just angry about that. But
I've only owned one video game system in my life, and that was a PS1.
Hey, I used to have one. I'm not too young to not have that. But yeah, I used to have PS2, 3, 4, but then I kind of dropped off, and I haven't played games in a long time actually. But that's just me. But yeah, Paigey is always flexing his PS5. Always. That's all I see from him. Okay, literally FIFA, PS5. That's it. Also, along with that, I've just been seeing Emergency Awesome flexing his Xbox and his his PS5. He's like, I was watching this video the other day. I just randomly clicked on one. I was like, I haven't watched him in a while. I click on it, and he inserts a photo of him holding his like PS5. Everyone's flexing.
It's too much flexing's going on. I can't take it.
Because in 6 months, people will have moved on and started talking about the next system coming out.
Yeah, probably.
It's cool right now today. In 3 weeks, it'll be everybody will now have one that needs one. You know?
I don't usually buy systems at launch. I usually wait a little while. But there was just a couple of games that I really wanted to try out with the new system. So I can wait though. I mean, I've got the money set aside, so I'll just keep it there until I can get one. So
yeah. And what I'm guessing you wanted the Miles Morales game, or are they releasing?
Yeah, no, I did. No, they were doing that, the Miles game and the remastered Spider-Man. So I wanted both of those because the remaster is not coming out for the PS4. So you have to get the PS5 for that. So that's what I really wanted to play. But I'll take it when I can get it, I guess.
Oh well. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even consider getting it.
I'm actually sure that Paigey's gonna flex on me when he sees me and reminds me that he has a system and I don't. Just waiting for that.
I think he got his already anyway.
Yeah, he did. He's probably playing on it right now.
Yeah.
He probably got 2 of them and one of them's still in a box. I mean, that's just how he rolls. So
Could you imagine the subs you would pull in if you're like, I'm giving away a PS5?
Oh my god.
I would sub for that. Like, if you're giving away a PS5 on your page, let me know. I will sub. Like, I can try for that one.
Sure.
Apparently, Warstu is giving away a PS4 when he reaches 100,000 subscribers, is what he said.
So. I checked his channel the other day. Okay, all right.
I haven't been there in months.
How has he got 100K? Nearly.
He just when Avengers was the bee's knees, he was shoving videos out 3 times a day of every conspiracy idea you could come up with. And they were tracking. Like, that fandom just ate up every useless piece of morsel info there was. And I mean, we're a couple years removed. You'd think they would just like unsubscribe now that they know 80% of it was crap, but nope. You know, it's like we got this covered. You throw enough stuff at the
There's
wall.
no reason to unsubscribe when you're a fake account. I mean, like, it's probably a bunch of fake accounts or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll be honest with you. Anytime I see a channel that's doing, and it's not specific to him, so this isn't me like picking on him, but anytime I see a channel where it's a lot of sort of, I don't know, disposable, like repetitive, like videos, like there's a lot of channels where they'll upload videos where they'll do the same topic once a week because they'll see it. Like, say for example, you upload, I don't know, Paula Deen videos, like you do Paula Deen reaction videos, and one of them does really well, but by the time it's doing well, you've already moved on to like other stuff. You're going to go back and try to do another Paula Deen video because you're like, oh, those numbers are doing really well, so let me try and do that again. But you typically see channels do something else, like maybe a different episode of Paula Deen, but then you have these other channels where it's just they repeat the same stuff in those videos with the same thumbnails and stuff like that. And it blows my mind that they get so many subscribers because of that. Because I'll be honest, like YouTube has gone through and like purged groups of subs from my channel several times. Like every time I get up a certain level, it's like, oh, 20 subs disappear in 15 minutes. And I'm like, that's not real people. Obviously YouTube is going through and purging these things. So I can't climb the ladder because they keep doing it. But yeah, you have these channels like, you know, the 100K channels where they're basically just clickbaiting and they have like tons of fake subs, and it's kind of frustrating. You know, but I agree. I don't know how they get subscribers. I wish I knew. I mean, I'd make Paula Deen videos every week if it worked for me, but you know.
No, yeah, I don't know. I think, especially with channels like ours at the moment, it's very hard. Apart from if you're Pagey or if you're, you know, Emergency Awesome or something, you know, they're always on the recommended, and I mean, they've worked up to that.
New show, guys. New show.
I've seen that.
New show.
Central City Citizens.
No, this is a really bad time for. Apparently, they've also taken this, and I don't know for sure if it's happening for everybody because I know some channels are still in recommended. But apparently, the TV stuff has not been in recommended since like the end of the summer for us. So like at the end of August, the TV stuff has disappeared from the recommended tabs unless you're already on a video that's like that stuff. But like, say for example, if you click on a DCEU video and you don't normally click on TV stuff, no TV stuff is being recommended to new subs. Yeah. So it's probably because TV is cut back on advertising, if I had to guess. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of, I've noticed that too, that views have been really weird and subs have been really weird. I'm hoping by the time we get to January, things are sort of shifting back.
I think that's part of the thing. It's out of sight. Like, it's not even just out of sight, out of mind. It is very far out of sight, out of mind right now. Like, it's not even just that the shows are off the air. It's all of the political strife in the U.S., this pandemic, TV shows. I mean, for the hardcore fans, the ones that come and watch these type of things, yeah, they will still eat up the content there is. But your casual viewer that just is sitting at home going, oh, The Flash is on tonight. They're not looking for new content right now because they're not even thinking about it.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
They're not even typing anything up.
Tomorrow. They're worrying about who the president is. Like, this is very low on their priority list at the moment, you know?
Absolutely. But, and I've noticed that a lot of things with channel, like, thank God that we all have like supporters that are willing to come in. Like, you guys don't understand, like,
yeah, exactly,
for our live streams, watching our videos, giving us likes. Honestly, if it weren't for those folks, the ones that we have in here right now that come to our videos, we would be in a lot of pain right now because they're just not promoting our channels. So we appreciate it.
Entirely true. Yeah, we all really appreciate it because literally, like, I don't know, I guess, like, Eric, you probably lost your DJing job quite a few times over the pandemic, right? So YouTube
three times I go back to work and then I keep losing my job. So yeah.
So that's for you, and like for me, it's literally just YouTube as well. And yeah, so I mean, we all rely on it. So everyone that comes back regularly, like, we fully owe everything to you, like, right now. So
yeah, I couldn't even do this if it wasn't for the supporters I have, honestly. So
yeah, same.
Yeah. But yeah, so I really, really hope that that we get some promotion here soon. I think I do believe once the trailers start dropping for these shows and YouTube sees that they're putting content out, then we'll probably see like a bump in numbers and things like that. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I was presuming when those trailers drop as well, that's going to be the time. The trailers drop, YouTube notices it, we make videos, blah, blah, blah. People stop typing out more, and because like I always go back to kind of when I had a few big videos. That was around the Savitar time. I mean, you did too, Eric. You had some very big videos around.
Yeah, Savitar was huge. Well, that and the Man in the Iron Mask, like those were two big videos. Yeah. Like I think one of my biggest videos was an Iron Mask video, which is interesting.
Yeah, and then even the next year after, there wasn't much in season 4, but then the Mystery Girl stuff, especially for me, I got a lot of attraction on that, and so I always go back to those instances, saying, like, if you were watching the show, like the whole reason I started my channel was because it was literally that Man in the Iron Mask kind of thing, right? Around that time, I was like, I've got lots of theories, but I want to type it up. I want to look and see what people are saying. And so I think what we have right now is, and also when we don't have much mystery in the shows, people aren't compelled to type up and find videos.
That was one of the biggest problems with some of the other seasons we've had, is there's been no, like, I think the Flash up until Reverse Flash was a thing on season 5.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a crap about the show in terms of mystery because there wasn't anything. Like,
no, it's true.
The Thinker, as good as he was as a villain in the beginning, he just kind of fizzled out. Like, people want mysteries. They want to theorize. They want to speculate. That's what brings people to YouTube. And that's what I've told people before, is I love doing the reviews, but I really enjoy theory videos and speculation videos, because those are the most fun to make. Reviews is just me basically being edgy for 10 minutes and then giving it a bad score. It's like, oh, I loved it. It was a great episode. 4 out of 5. And people are like, what?
Yeah.
4 out of 5? Yeah. So no, but I love those kinds of things. And I do miss like the days of Savitar and that whole, like, the idea of, not knowing who a character is. Although I will say this, I think the Savitar mystery went on a bit too long. It felt like it went on forever. So hopefully we'll get something like that in this upcoming season. I feel like we could possibly, because they're not telling us a lot right now. So maybe we'll get some surprises or something. Yeah,
I'm definitely more hopeful, especially since we kind of don't know much, like you said. And also they said, we have Godspeed. And yes, I think Godspeed was, or at least for me, Godspeed wasn't getting much attraction when he came back. But if he's like the main villain and there's this mystery going on, I feel like that could be the thing for all of us, and for people to get intrigued again. So I'm hopeful.
I actually think that the fact that Eric Wallace wants to do things in chapters means that getting a Godspeed chapter where he is the main villain for like 6 or 7 episodes, I think it's a very big possibility, because we were thinking about Godspeed in the sense that could he be a villain for like a whole season? And I don't know if he could totally. But we've had other villains that feel like they didn't need to be the villain for the whole season. So I love the idea that Eric Wallace wants to do these graphic novels or chapters of the episode so that we get different stories. And I think that's amazing. And it makes me wonder what the format's going to be for Superman and Lois, because I'm really excited for that show too. And I'm wondering if they're going to do something similar, or are we going to do like Smallville, where it's more of like a bad guy of the week every single episode or something like that. Because I remember in Smallville, it was mostly that until later in the series. So,
yeah, I think with Superman and Lois, you might get a bit of the first season or two. They'll just go the normal routine and have a full season thing going, where you have a villain of the week and with a subplot under there building up as the season goes along. Then maybe after a couple of years, they'll move more to the new Flash system. Because in the early years of a show, you have more stories you still have to tell.
Wait,
on the screen. Oh,
there you go.
Super West, the show that everybody wants, right? Super West. I was looking for that picture because I remembered I had another picture, and I was like, oh yeah, there's another picture in here that I wanted to show you. So
I saw the other one.
Smoke.
There was another one that I wanted to share that I thought was funny. Oh my gosh. Hold on, wait. No, I can't show this, but I'll have to show it to Canadagraphs later. I want to send this to you because I want to see your reaction to it. But I got this off of, it was on, well, actually I can't send it to Canadagraphs on Twitter. I'll send these both to you guys, but this came from Tumblr, and someone sent me the link, and I thought, oh gosh, let me send this to you. And
you clicked on it.
My brain hurts just hearing Tumblr.
I'm about to show it to you. Like, just click on your.
Oh my
Twitter
god!
and read what it says. It's so funny.
Oh my god! All right, I did not see that. You guys don't want to see that. Anyway. I mean, why'd you click on the Tumblr link, Eric?
because I saw that thing where it said I start my day watching War Stew. I was like, what is this? And then I clicked on it, and it was cropped in a way that you didn't see the bottom half of the photo.
I will be sending you my therapy bill.
Yeah, and mine. Jesus Christ.
You're gonna need Gary to ask you a lot of questions. To
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, going back onto Superman and Lois, I just wanted to ask you, because we mentioned this before, just before you came in. Someone asked, do we think that Superman and Lois is going to be doing ratings like The Flash? What's your thoughts, Eric? Because
doing
we
what?
About
like what? Like The
doing
Flash?
ratings like The Flash, you know.
Oh,
Flash
you mean
levels.
like their weekly viewership numbers?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think so it depends on where we are with COVID, because I think if COVID is still prevalent in like North America, we'll probably see a lot of people watching it on live television, because there's not going to be a lot of stuff for people to do. I think if we see, because this is the big thing, and I know this is kind of crazy to think about it, but we have so many vaccines that are coming out. People are going to start getting those and start getting back out into the world, kind of. So I think if that happens, we might see more people watching it on demand instead of watching it live. So it really just depends on where it's going to be, like at this point in February. If I had to guess, I would say starting out, at least the first episode, maybe the first 2 episodes, the numbers are probably going to be pretty huge, because I think people want to see what the show is going to be like. Like, what is it going to be? Is it going to be like Smallville? Is it going to be like Supergirl? What is the vibe of it? And it's coming on right after The Flash, I believe. So Flash is their lead in, which is going to do really well for them as well. So I think maybe the first 2 episodes are probably going to be really good. But I would say, if I had to guess, it would be somewhere between, maybe, I would say at the very least around Supergirl numbers.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, somewhere around there, because I think a lot of people that love Supergirl, they're probably going to transition over to watching Superman and Lois. Yeah, because the show is going to have this very similar, at least a very similar character type, because we're moving those characters over. I actually would love to see some of the Supergirl characters move over to Superman and Lois, especially Alex. I really would love to see Alex move over. And I know Brainy moving over is probably not a thing, but I'd also like to see John maybe move over, not full time, but maybe be a recurring character. But yeah, I think Supergirl numbers are what I would be looking for. But also, I think the interesting thing is since they're going to be moving to HBO Max after the season is done, I think we have to remember that those numbers are going to matter too. So it's going to, like, they're double dipping. Paige and I talked about this on Tuesday, and I didn't even really think about this, but Warner Brothers and DC are kind of double dipping, because they're getting the views and the money from the stuff over at the CW. And then once the season is done, it's a premiere series on HBO Max. So people that didn't watch it on the CW will literally probably watch the whole season on HBO Max. So they are sort of double dipping a bit. So I think all of those numbers, this world is crazy. Like, before, you just look at the viewership numbers on like TV Line or something like that, but now, or TV by the numbers. Now those numbers don't really totally matter. I mean, they do count into some advertising, but I think the CW is shifting into the streaming world. I think they really want to drive people to their site.
I mean, mentioned this several times in the past. If you watched all of their advertising from last year and so far this year, on like their posters and everything, never mentions the night that they're actually airing.
Right.
It always says the day you can catch it on streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Every piece of advertising they put out in poster form last year. They don't seem to care that they have a television network.
Right.
And they're very, very invested into the streaming revenue stream. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they're making it work, but they've obviously found a way to make it work.
Well, I think the way they're doing it,
like Legends around still. So I mean,
you know what I think it is, and I think a lot of other streaming platforms should probably think about this. They are making it free with ads, and I think a lot of other platforms that charge memberships, they're missing out on the amount of ad revenue that can be ran on one episode. Yeah. It's like 6 to 8 commercials in an episode that you get, or 6 to 8 breaks every episode that you get 2 or 3 commercials on. And so I think they found something that a lot of people have not found yet, is that if you give people free stuff, like you can watch this for free, they're willing to sit through the ads. And I think that's one of the things that they don't do. So
if we could get it up here, I probably would do that from time to time too. Like if I fall a day behind an episode, I would probably do that too. I mean, I mean, the younger generation, maybe they might be annoyed by it, but you and I, Eric, we've lived through having to sit and watch shows with ad breaks our entire life.
Yeah.
You know,
it wasn't until recently that we haven't had that. I would say it's been within the last less than a decade that's really not been a thing. Because I mean, I feel like even when I was little, you had to record things on VHS and then you'd have to like fast forward through the commercials manually every time. It was annoying. Yeah.
I remember
that. I have no idea what we're talking about.
I'm of the age where we had the VHS, but it was only for like 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, the numbers I think will be interesting to watch for, but I do believe the CW's caught on to like, let's not charge people, let's just run ads, and it's seeming to work for them. I know CBS All Access. I have because there's a $7 plan and a $13 plan, and I actually went with the $7 plan because it has limited ads, but you still get all the content. So I've done that, and I've been okay with it. Like you get like a 30-second commercial break every 15 minutes or something like that, but it's not that bad. I know some people will hate that and they probably go with the more expensive one, but even they understand that you can still, they're sort of doing the smartest thing. Like the limited ads plan, I think honestly is probably the best plan for them financially, because you're still getting a subscription, but you're also getting ad revenue, which is something that a lot of other places aren't doing. I think Hulu has a plan like that as well, but I'm not sure.
Must be nice to live in the States where you have all these options.
I know, right? Literally all we have here is like you have normal TV, and then you have Netflix and Amazon, and that's about it. Yeah, literally that's about it. Like we don't have. I mean, you don't have the CW or anything. So I remember last year. Okay, I was in America, and I believe Arrow was on, and it played on TV, and I was like, "What? Arrow is on TV? I didn't know Arrow's on TV." like it just never hooked me. I've always watched on a computer.
Yeah. Well, because like Hulu, I believe here, it's got a $6 like limited thing, and then it's like a $12 plan or whatever. But I have Spotify because I use that for work. So with Spotify, I get a deal with Hulu. So I don't really know what the actual like normal cost of Hulu is, because you can get them combined together. At least when I got it, you could do it combined together. I don't know if it is or not. But yeah, a Beast Boy 2.0 wants to know where Paigey is.
He's playing PS5 definitely.
I
mean, where's Emergency Awesome?
In the early days of Hulu, they were American only, and I think now you can finally get it internationally, at least in some countries. But because of the fact that they wouldn't give memberships to Canada, I was just like, no, I'm never using them.
Yeah. Well, now they're owned by Disney, so
yeah. What isn't owned by Disney?
Yeah, that's true.
We've actually got Disney
Plus. Owns everything.
Wait. Does anybody else have Disney Plus yet? I know it was for a while.
We have Disney Plus now, but that's the only other thing.
You mean in the country? Yeah, we have Disney Plus here. Yeah.
Oh, wait. So, Ben, have you watched The Mandalorian at all?
No. I've been meaning to, but I just haven't got around to it.
Well, I would say I'm curious about your thoughts on it.
Is it tonight?
It's tomorrow is a new episode.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yeah. I'm curious about your thoughts on it because it's a very movie style TV show and the way it's shot. So I'm curious to, as somebody who is working or going to school now for that, I'm just curious about your thoughts on the visuals for it and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I like how it looks and everything, but I honestly don't want to pay for Disney Plus. So
I don't blame you. I feel like I'm throwing money away for that. Like, so I did when it first came out, I went ahead and just did the whole year. I went ahead and paid for the whole year because you saved money on it. And I'm like, oh, so I'm saving money. I feel like I'm getting a bargain because we're going to get this Mandalorian, then we're going to get the Marvel shows, and then we're going to be getting like all this other stuff. And then there was nothing. The Mandalorian came out. We got the Jeff Goldblum reality show, and then that was it. And I'm like, so I'm paying for reruns now? Like, I don't understand. And then
you got Hamilton.
Well, yes, and I do appreciate that, but I would have paid for Hamilton separately. I wouldn't have mind paying $20 for that. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not. If I had Disney Plus, I wouldn't watch Hamilton. I would watch that in the theater if I could. Like I'm not gonna watch.
That would have been great in the theater.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's literally in London.
Theatrical release because that was their original plan.
Oh, was it? I didn't know that.
It was supposed to be a theatrical release at one point.
No. I didn't mean watch it in a cinema. I meant watch it in the actual theater
on Broadway.
Yeah, or in the West End because they do it here as well in London.
Oh, do they? Okay, I didn't know. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know what's weird is a lot of people in my age group didn't get that play or that musical. They didn't get it because they watched it and they're like, oh, they were talking so fast and I didn't really understand what they were saying and everything. And like, because a lot of people in my circle, because I guess they were expecting not like a hip hop musical, like they were thinking it was something else. And so I told them, I was like, well, the thing is, it was intended for a specific demographic, and if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. But it's supposed to be that way because it is sort of flipping the whole story on its head and creating something new out of it. And they're like, oh, it's just annoying and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I was like, do I even know you? Like, is this really, why am I friends with this person? That's what I kept thinking.
I haven't met a person yet that I personally know who has watched it and not liked it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
there was somebody like, oh, I watched 10 minutes and I turned it off. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I've only heard reaction.
I'm a pretty uncultured person, and even I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that just like there's a lot of movies that don't resonate or not just musicals, but there's a lot of movies that I don't get the interest in. I don't get it. But I will say that I mean, a lot of times things are not intended for everybody. You're not going to watch it and agree on it. But it is weird that people don't get that. I mean, it's kind of obvious what it's supposed to be. Which I think is kind of funny. So Ben, we're talking about Wonder Woman. You're going to go see that in cinemas, right? You're going to go see it like as it's intended to be released. So
yeah. Well,
have they started pre-sales yet, or tickets on sale, or no?
No, they haven't, because what they've done, right? So today in England, it just got announced. So we do a tiered system here, right? They just introduced this, so it's like London, Brighton, Manchester. We're all in different sections, right? We're per city, per borough, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it was announced today that London is in tier 2, which meant we can open cinemas, right? From next week again. We closed for a month, and now they're back open. And Warner Brothers and HBO Max confirmed that they're going to be releasing it here in the cinema. So yeah, I'll be seeing it in the cinema. I actually just messaged Warner Brothers today because I was surprised a while ago when Tenet was being released. They were doing press screenings for it here. So I asked today, are you doing it? So I'm waiting for a reply. But yeah, I'm going to watch it either way.
I'll be back in a minute. So
okay. All right. So yeah, there's a theater about 5 minutes from me. And I keep checking every day to see like if it's going to be there, because the way they've been doing it here is you can actually rent out a theater.
What?
Yeah. Like you can rent out a full theater for up to 20 people to go and privately watch something here.
Yeah. It's
$100, but it's 20 people. So if you take 20 people and you split it, that's really not that much.
How much is that? $5?
Yeah, it's like $5 a person. Yeah, it's really, really inexpensive. And these are mostly cinema cafes where you can sit down. They'll bring you your food before the movie. You can get drinks and things like that. So they are more interested in getting people in to eat and buy the food because that's where they make their money from. So they're like, we'll just rent out the theaters. Even if we get 20 people and they all buy something, that's better than not having anybody come to the theater. So they're doing it that way and sanitizing between showings. But yeah, so if they do that, chances are I'm going to get 20 people and we're just going to go see it together. Because that seems like it's the best way to view it. I mean, if that's not a possibility, I will absolutely watch it on HBO Max, but I really, really want to see it on the big screen first. I always like to see it there first and then watch it at home later.
Of course.
So, but I'm really excited. The sad reality is I think that, and I talked about this a little bit on some of my other live streams, is this feels to me like Wonder Woman is taking the hit to the studio's taking a hit on Wonder Woman, because to be real, this movie would have probably made $1 billion easily in theaters. So they're taking a hit to put it out. And I just really hope if you are a fan of this type of movie, if you feel comfortable going to theaters, help theaters survive. If your theater's doing what it can to feel safe, wear a mask, go there. If you're not okay with it and it's not something you're willing to do, then support it online. But make sure you put support out there for it, because I am actually applauding Warner Brothers for stepping up and trying to save art, because that's really what's happening here. And I feel like this movie is a sacrificial lamb in a lot of ways. So
and I feel bad for what they did with Tenet and stuff, because like it's the same thing. They're trying to do something that all these other studios are too scared to do, when in reality they should be supporting those cinema owners, those theater owners, you know, in America, abroad, whatever, you know. And that's what they tried to do for Tenet. And then the studios got scared because, it didn't make as much as, you know, it would have before the pandemic. But we're in the middle of a pandemic and it made like 300 to 400 million. That's insane for a pandemic.
You know, I think the weird thing is, and I was trying to find the tweet here because I was going to talk about it, but a friend of mine who does theater in Canada said that it's really crazy that the governments find art to be such an expendable career. Like they think that it's just something that doesn't matter. And like any form of art, whether you're a live band, whether you're an actor, whether you're a stage actor, whether you're a director, whether you do anything behind the scenes, anything connected to art right now, there are very little programs in place to save art, which is why art is always the first thing that people want to cut, because they don't see it as something essential. And I get the safety aspect of it, but there needs to be some programs in place everywhere. And it even more so now, pay attention to how things are right now, because I think moving forward, we need to support art. We need to support everything art. It doesn't matter if it's painting, if it's music, if it's, you know, whatever it may be. It is something that you have to hold on to. And it really is the public and the community that has to make that happen, because it looks like the governments don't really care. And I know particularly where you are, there's been an ongoing battle, at least in the music world, for like keeping venues open where people do live music, whether it be electronic artists or singers or people like that. Like apparently there's no support over there, and their places are dying out. Like these businesses are just going under, and it's really sad to see that. So
no, it's true. We need to support all of these, and especially here. I'm not sure about America, right? But according to the statistics here, which is even more annoying, why this month-long shutdown in England was annoying, especially for people and places that were doing so well in terms of safety. There was this big investigation over here that looked into cinemas and the safety of it and how many outbreaks there have been compared to restaurants and other places like that. And there was a total of 0 outbreaks. There was no single recorded person got the virus.
Same here. The cinemas here in this area that I'm in. Nothing. Same thing with nightclubs. There's been no traced links to any of the nightclubs that I've worked at. So I bang my head against the wall. Like, why are we being targeted? And Princeton released a study that came out, I think, at the end of September, but it kind of flew under the radar. But they did like a 4-month study, and I'd have to find it, and I think I may have retweeted it, but apparently asymptomatic kids, but under the age of like 15, are these super spreaders. They are the ones that are spreading it because they don't even know they have it, and kids are so not, I don't want to say unsanitary. I mean, I guess if you're really young, they can be, but they don't think about stuff the same way that the adults are thinking about it. So they're doing things unconsciously that is spreading it, and it's not their fault. It's absolutely not their fault. But I think if you're looking at what you need to be strict on, schools, number one, like that's one of the biggest places of outbreaks. Over here, every day there's an outbreak at a school of somebody that has it. But you're shutting down, and you have a curfew at 10 o'clock at night. Who's out at 10 o'clock at night spreading that? Like, no one is. Like, it's so weird.
It's true.
Anyway, I could rant about it forever, but you're absolutely right. It's such a weird thing, and being targeted when you're clearly not one of the biggest problems seems so weird to me.
It's interesting because here in Vancouver, at least in the summer, I mean, not so much now, but that's because they have shut the things down. Our nightclubs were a problem. Like I live right in the middle of the entertainment district, and the place, it's more of a bar than a club, but the bar right under my place, 2 doors down from here, and the club at the end of the street. So 3 just on my block, all had outbreaks within about a 9-day period. And it was a huge problem in the downtown core.
And you know what I'm going to say about that is I think the reason for that is, and this is just a theory that I've heard tossed around, is in the beginning, when all this happened in most places, it was the summertime and kids were not in school. They were getting out of school, or they were shortly getting out of school after this all started. So kids did not have the chance to actually spread it. So in the beginning, yes, adults were the largest spreaders because we were the only people getting it. But now the kids are being exposed to it. Most of the adults that would have spreaded it in those venues have already had it, or they've already spread it to someone else, and it's been long gone. So now I think the reason why children are the biggest spreaders is because school is starting back up, and everybody's going back. And there's so many restrictions on restaurants. Restaurants now are cleaner than they've ever been. I think even when I was a kid, there have never been cleaner restaurants than there are right now. So it's really weird. But you've got a super chat here, Ben. I don't want to like keep it hanging on there. So.
No. Well, I mean, it kind of goes with that. So Paige, she's just sending another one as well. So Paige says, I love Cineworld. So Cineworld is the cinema chain here.
Yeah.
They own one of your ones. I think they own Regal.
Yes, they do.
I think they do. Yeah. So, yeah, but in the UK, it's actually not the children. The schools haven't had many outbreaks here. It's not been really said over here as to what the uptake has been, but a lot of blame was put on students and universities over here. They were locking in like students in universities and literally caging them in, and it was terrible. But so yeah, we haven't had much to do with
excuse me,
more so a bit more universities, but then again they blamed it totally on that when it was like, I think it was over here because obviously we're not as big as America or Canada. It's kind of like a mix of things, I think.
So I think the biggest thing is, and this is why when I first joined you guys and we were talking about it earlier, is I don't think there's any one thing that is a answer to a question for every area, because I think every area is very different. But I think one thing that we can all agree on is that wearing masks, being hygienic, and keeping distance is the number one thing. Those are the things you can do to prevent it. So I think the constant up and down we keep seeing with, it's the kids. Well, now it's college kids. Now it's nightclubs. Now it's restaurants. I think the reason why is because we are knee-jerking to where an outbreak is, not addressing what you could actually be doing to not have that happen, which is wearing a mask, social distancing, cleaning the things down. Like, I think that's the reason why it pops around like that quite a bit. But I think the problem with what the states, at least when it comes to kids, is a lot of parents were just tired of having their kids at home. Like they were struggling with, like, if you're in a family with like 8 kids and you're all stuck in a house together for 5 months, it is not mentally good for you. And the problem is you're weighing mental health and physical health because the government is not giving you any real options on what you can do. So it's like, I can't take them anywhere because the government's got everything shut down. I can't go outside because I'm worried about social distancing. They're not going to school. I'm having to do classes from home. It's a nightmare situation. And I don't think, at least in the United States, we didn't have there wasn't a task force or anybody there to make those kinds of decisions. So
you guys have been on your own, basically. Like here in Canada, we were a little bit on our own because like you in the States, our provinces decide on what is and isn't allowed in the city. But our government was still supporting everyone from a well, not everyone, but like probably 90% of everyone in the country was getting some type of support from the government. It wasn't a lot in a lot of cases. Like I'm on disability and I got an extra $300 a month from the government. I'm still getting that extra $300 a month now. We're what, 8 or 9
Our extra expired like 4 months ago, 5 months ago. You guys
got what, one $1,200 check and that was it.
One $1,200 check, and then each state had to come up with money to give out as additional support. And some states ran out in 1 month. My state ran out after like 3 months, 4 months, something like that. So
we just implemented just this week. I mean, granted, it's not helping the businesses that have already shut down, but we just implemented this week. Like the government will now subsidize up to 65% of rents for small businesses. And it's like, our government, from a financial standpoint, has stepped up. I mean, could they do more? Sure.
I wish I could say that about ours. I don't know how it is in the UK, but over here it's
very much on your own.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to interject with one funny little thing. You're talking about the schools, so I was just looking at ours. So in Vancouver, just the city itself, we have 18 secondary schools, which is like your grade 8 to 12. 12 of them have a potential exposure in the month of November.
Yeah.
Doesn't say that they've been closed, just says potential exposure dates. Doesn't even say if anyone's been confirmed sick, but
it's crazy. In the UK, are you guys getting any kind of like funding as private citizens or any businesses getting anything for this?
Yeah, so it's mainly how it works here is it's a bit different from you guys because it is all government controlled. It's not where you live. It's the government controlling everything. I mean, yeah, we're smaller, but I mean, London is a big thing. It's a huge working city. And I mean, having it shut down even for this month, people are going absolutely nuts over it. Like they're all, the whole economy runs on London, and having London shut down, it's a nightmare for all the businesses. But in terms of support, the government has been supporting people. They have been giving them 80% of their wages, so obviously a lot higher than you guys, I think. So they've been giving everyone 80% of their wages if they pay taxes. Obviously, some people, if you're younger like me, I don't get anything, but but there is some slippages where if you have a business, but then that business is linked to, say, your wife, say you're, so this actually happened to like someone I know. So it's like someone has this business, right? But then they're not getting paid that 80%, not sure why. But then if your accounts are linked to that person, say your wife is linked to that, they don't get anything as well. So some people are stuck in that, and that's a loophole that the government has somehow got out of, like, out of paying everyone. But I mean, they've been supportive, but they are making some stupid decisions over here.
Well, it sounds better than one $1,200 check, though. I think that sounds better than the one $1,200 check we got 8 months ago, something like that.
I mean, yeah, if it's just one, then
it is just one, because keep in mind, every time our government has gone back to quote unquote relieve the citizens, it has literally been every single time. It hasn't even gotten to the point where they've voted on anything. It's been shot down before it ever went to vote.
I can't hear you.
Yeah. But to completely change course here, I'm curious, what show are you the least excited for in this upcoming season? Because we have a handful.
Well, we already know my answer.
Well, because we have, so let's keep in mind, we got Batwoman, Black Lightning's final season, Supergirl's final season, The Flash, Superman and Lois, Legends of Tomorrow, Stargirl. Is that it? I think that's it. So out of those, Yes. Yeah. So out of all of those, which one is it like you're just like, I'll watch it, but I don't really care? Like, is there one that you feel that way?
Mine's always going to be Supergirl. I mean, it.
Oh, wow.
Outside of when Cat Grant was on the show, like, Cat Grant is the only character that I've ever actually really liked on that show.
He said Supergirl on this channel.
Yes, I did.
My gosh. Ben is exploding. His head is melting. He's about to make a rant video about you, Canadagraphs. You're
banned from this channel. Go away.
Mine is Legends of Tomorrow. Okay, so let's just go.
I agree. Mine's Legends as well.
That is I'm out. Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow is a show where I don't feel an urgency to watch it. Like, it's not like I don't want to see it. It's just like I could go and watch the whole season at the end. Honestly, yeah, I feel like
fair enough. I can agree with you on that. Like, it's not a show you need to keep up on week to week. But for me, it's the it's that little distraction in between all the serious shows that just levels everything out. Because if all you're watching is Flash, all you're watching is Batwoman, all you're watching is, I guess, Supergirl, I'll assume. You're getting
that was shady. Oh my god!
Story after stressful story, and then you get Legends, and Legends is just like, we're just gonna do whatever, you know.
Okay, so he's got the scissors out. So this I've talked to people about this before, and it's such a weird thing because I love humor up to a point. Like, I have a point where I feel like it crosses a line for me and my excitement for the series. Like, for example, the Thor Ragnarok is a movie that I didn't think I was going to like because it was very funny. It was a very, very funny movie, but I actually did like it. And it's probably my favorite movie of the Thor films. Yeah. But then I think Legends of Tomorrow, in a lot of ways, goes further than that sometimes with their comedy, where it's just too much. Like the episode where they were all puppets. I thought, like, what in the world am I watching? I think that the Big Bebo fighting, a demon at the end of their season was a bit much. I enjoyed it, but I still just don't. I guess it's a series that I just don't get. And I don't like that they also have sort of taken and, combined these characters that I love and then done nothing with them. Like, I think Firestorm was completely screwed over on that show. I think that story could have been so much better. I did love the times between Jax and Stein. I thought they were great together, but Firestorm is really powerful. Really powerful. The transmutation that he did in the first season, I think he used it maybe twice after that.
Well, that's just a lot on Legends' budget. Like,
it is, but I think that's the problem with the show is that if you're going to do a show at that level, okay, so let me rewind. Just rewind that for a second. I think the comedy would work for me if the characters were more exciting with their powers, because I think the problem is the lack of budget and the comedy almost makes me feel like they're not taking. I know they're not taking the story so seriously, but it almost feels to me like they're like taking the piss of the characters on the show. And I don't want to feel like they're taking advantage of them, other than, like, I think I like Ava and I like Zari, and Sarah used to be one of my favorite characters, but they've really screwed her character over, even with the Ava stuff. So I don't know. It's just the show that I don't really think is the most exciting for me. And I understand what you're saying, Canadagraphs. I get it. Like, I think the other shows can be a bit dark and broody at times. But I actually think that Superman and Lois may also have a fun tone to it. Like, I think it's going to be a lot more fun.
I mean, we haven't seen it yet, so it's hard.
Yeah, I'm speculating
that it fits for me yet.
Because I don't think it's going to be as controversial as Supergirl's been. I really don't think it's going to be that controversial.
But yeah, they got rid of their writer.
But they haven't really talked about that. But I think Superman and Lois is going to be kind of like, I kind of get the gist is going to be more like The Flash or something. I don't know. That's my idea. But I agree with you, Eric. Legends is definitely my show that I'm not looking forward to, because, I mean, maybe I'll watch it, but I used to love it. I know you don't like season 1, Eric. I know that. I
think season 1 was problematic. I don't think it was a bad season. I think they didn't have a good balance for me in season 1, and I think they kind of hit that balance in season 2 for me. So that's kind of where I feel about it.
That's interesting. Yeah. So I really like season 1, season 2, and 3. I really liked them. Then season 4 happened. I watched the first half and I just dropped the hell off and I lost all interest. And I think I watched just the Crisis episode last year. I skipped the whole season.
We must be talking about Legends still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just could not watch it.
I would say that season 4 is the worst season of Legends because I think season 5 was better than season 4.
By far.
Season 4 of Legends was so bad, I quit the show and still have not watched the last 4 episodes of that.
Let me see if I can find it.
I quit the show entirely. I haven't watched season 5.
I watched season 5. So I watched season 5 only because of it was going to be you have to keep up with it with Crisis and all that, right? But season 4, they got to that episode, the Bollywood Jane Austen episode.
That was the Jane Austen episode made me want to jump out of a window.
That ended it for me. But going into that episode, there was a good 4 or 5 episodes in that first half of the season. I'm just kind of like, I'm not feeling this season. And then they got to that episode, I'm like, I'm done with this.
So I will say this. I think the Jane Austen episode, and it's funny you mentioned that because that was the one that I said, I think I talked about it in my review, is the most indulgent episode that the writers have ever done on that show, because I truly believe they just wanted to write a Jane Austen episode and they didn't care that it didn't work on Legends. And
fair enough, yeah,
because it just didn't work. And that episode have Mona in it too, where she was like doing the werewolf stuff? That was just a weird episode, 100% weird.
Well, no, it's I mean, there's the one thing I'll say about Legends. I mean, Legends realizes they're not serious and leans into it, but in that episode, I think they got too much up, in their own head about it. They're kind of like, oh, well, we can do whatever we want to do, and they didn't have a solid idea. They just knew they really wanted to do a Bollywood thing. They really wanted to do Jane Austen, and we don't have enough content to make a whole episode of each. Let's just mush them together, and we got that verbal diarrhea of dumpster fire. That
I will say though, that Reverse Flash on Legends was really, really, really good. I loved Matt Lesher's performance on his season. And I actually think that the stuff between John Barrowman and Neil McDonough on that season was some of the best duo work we've ever seen on the show.
Okay, I'm one of the rare few that didn't hate Neil McDonough on Arrow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's the worst.
He's not my favorite, but I liked some of the snarkiness that he would deliver in his lines.
Yeah.
But on Legends, it fits. Like, I liked him.
No, Damien Dark was much better on Legends than he was on Arrow.
I can agree.
He fit the Legends.
I mean,
actually, we have a fight in the chat about missing Zari 1 and missing Zari 2.
I just, I hate Arrow season 4 is easily the worst season ever, in my opinion, of any show. And seeing Neil McDonough in Legends, at first I was like, oh, you're seriously bringing back the worst person. But then you're right, he was okay. He went from terrible to okay.
The bar was not high. So, I mean, all he had to do is be good.
Yeah.
And that would have been better.
Season 4 of Arrow came down to just abysmal writing. Like
season 4 of Arrow, in my opinion, was them attempting, and I'm just going to sort of speculate here. I think they were trying to bring Arrow up to like the level of the Flash in terms of what they were going to be doing, like with the magic and all that stuff. So I think they were doing that because they wanted to make it feel like take it from street level to something else, and they realized that that's not what Green Arrow needs to be. So they pulled it back in season 5 and actually had a really good season. Season 5 was really, really good.
That was the best season, in my opinion.
Because at the core, I think Arrow works better as a street level show. It doesn't need all the stuff that you get from the Flash. And I do believe trying to introduce magic, and because that season was the Constantine season where he went to the island and found out that his tattoo means something. And it was just all this weird magical stuff. And it just was unnecessary. And I think they're like, oh, in order to face off against Damien Dark, you have to have magical powers. And the one thing that I was so mad about is halfway through season 4, and I remember telling Paigey this, was it's going to come down to Damien either losing his powers or Oliver getting powers of some type.
Yeah.
And that's literally what it was. And I'm like, that's what I didn't want it to be, because I saw it coming from all the way out there. Like, I knew that was going to be the issue.
Let's be brutally honest. 80 to 90% of the Arrowverse seasons, you can predict how it's going to go by about the mid-season mark.
Yeah, but I felt like, for Green Arrow, I thought it was almost a betrayal of the character to give him those powers. Like, I thought he doesn't need powers.
Turned off because we'd heard from the beginning of the series, like, oh, this is a grounded show. We're not going to get into the superhero stuff, and then they put magic into the show, and I'm kind of like, why?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that it would be introduced to do like maybe a crossover thing, but making it the plot of the whole season was just wrong. There was a lot of other stuff. Isn't season 4 where Felicity destroyed a city? Or wasn't that in season 4?
Where she had somewhere.
Yeah.
Haven Rock, I believe was the name of it, like the missile. She hacked a missile.
Yep.
Did that happen in that season? Was that season 4?
Right.
She hacked a missile. It happened, people.
Yep.
Eric.
Yeah, it was definitely that season because it was a Damien Dark plan.
Oh my god, no, that was so bad. Anyway, we got a super chat from Paige again. Paige says, Ben, Supergirl, 1, 2, 3, the best. 4 and 5, so 4 and 5 a bit less. What do you guys think about that, Supergirl? I know you're not as up to date, Canadagraphs.
Okay, so I've watched season 1.
Here we go. He likes that because of Cat Grant. Go ahead.
I watched season 1. I watched season 2 up until the point that we got the crossover. And then I watched season 5. I've skipped 3 and 4 altogether.
Wow.
I really love 3.
3 is my favorite. 3 is my favorite season of Supergirl, I think.
Rain is so good.
Here's the thing. Wait, was it 3? Did I miss 3 and 4? Or
Rain is the best villain the show has ever had. Point blank.
Yeah,
period.
easily. Easily.
Like, here's the thing, though. Like, I was so turned off by that mid-season finale of Supergirl for season 2, the one where they literally had like a 4-second crossover.
That was like, I was going to say something really bad there. That was BS, basically, that crossover.
That, I was already on the fence of that show. It's not, like, I'm not its target demo, so I understand. I was already on the fence of it, wasn't a fan. And then that happened. I'm like, I'm done with this show. And the only reason I started to pick it back up was because of the association to Crisis. Like, I kind of need to know what's going on with the storyline. That's the only reason I picked it back up.
And then you watch the whole episode. It's literally like the last 5 seconds. And those 5 seconds were shown again at the beginning of The Flash. So you didn't even have to watch it.
That even made me angrier.
That's crazy. What about you, Eric? What's
what do you mean? Like, how would I rank this or whatever?
Roughly.
I would say 3 is my favorite, obviously. And then probably 2. So my order would be 3, 2, 1, 5, 4. 3, 2, 1, 5, 4. So.
I'm exactly the same.
Are you?
I'm always a huge advocate for Supergirl because I really love the show. But there is one thing about Supergirl that they never get right, apart from once, and that is villains. They just can't get the villains right. I admit it. I love Supergirl season 2 and 3. 2 and 1. I love them, but the villains aren't good, right?
It's the characters that make those seasons good. It's the interactions.
Characters that make those seasons good. You're right. Yeah. And it's the storylines, I feel like, with those characters. But then season 3 comes along and you have Rain, and it's just like a whole new show, you know?
The reason why season 3 I think was so amazing was you had the same great character moments between all of our cast members, but then you had a great villain too. So it just elevated the season to another level. So really, really good. Rain, that whole storyline, like I think back to it and I just remember that was the season where I was excited every single week to watch Supergirl. I really was. So
and then we move on to the next season, which was season 4. I don't know about you. I know you kind of like the Agent of Liberty stuff at the start, but they dragged on that storyline for so long.
Yeah, the beginning of season 4 was good to me, and then it just, like, at some point it just fell off. I don't remember exactly where it was. But I love the Agent Liberty episode because it was probably the riskiest episode that Supergirl's ever done, to do an episode just based around that instead of something with, because I don't think was Melissa even in that episode at all. I think she might have been in the very beginning or the very end.
She was in one scene, I think. She was on Broadway at that time.
Yeah, so they did that as a risk because they're like, we can't. She's not here to film, so we have to put out an episode. So I get all that, and they had the script was ready, the actors were ready, so they went ahead and made it. And I think that they did a fantastic job. But I think the problem is that Agent Liberty's storyline was another one where I was like, this character is going to have to get superpowers at some point if he's going to even be a match. Because unlike Arrow, where the villain can literally just be a dude that can fight, Supergirl, they have to have either they're extremely, extremely smart and can build stuff to fight her, or they have some sort of augmentation to help them fight her, or they're an alien. Yeah. And I knew that was coming with that character. And I didn't want to see it go that direction because he was so against aliens the whole time. I'm like, there's just no way he's going to give in and get powers because that's literally what he's fighting against. So I just didn't see where that story was going. But yes, I love the beginning of season 4, but then I agree, like somewhere in the middle, I feel like things just, I think they even switched it up and Agent Liberty's storyline just kind of disappeared for like 6 episodes or something. It was really weird.
It was kind of exciting for me because I remember I was so bored of it by that time. I was like, and then they introduced Lex Luthor, and I know you really like John. I think actually for me, I liked a few episodes at the start, and then it just kind of dragged on in the middle, and then it got to the Lex Luthor stuff, and they introduced Red Daughter, and I got really hooked at the end. I'm not gonna lie, I really liked the ending. Red Daughter was underused, but Lex Luthor saved the season for me.
That was what my problem was with the Red Daughter storyline is they didn't. I don't think it fulfilled what it could have done. It could have been so much more than what it was. But you're right, Lex was exciting, and I think his episodes were good. But I think the problem with that season is it was hit or miss so many times, and I just don't feel like they had a cohesive. I mean, maybe her being on Broadway caused things to change. I'm not sure, but it didn't feel like they knew where they were going with that season. It felt like at the end they just kind of were like, "Oh, we have Lex Luthor. Let's completely change the storyline," and it was just really weird. But. And I mean, at least Canadagraphs knows that Ben, I don't know if you remember or not, but I was very worried about John Cryer playing Lex Luthor because I wasn't sure how good he was going to be. And then I really loved it because I'm like, he's not trying to copy someone else. He's a completely different version. And he blew me away with his performance. And so I feel like he's done so good as that character. So yeah, you're right. I mean, can you imagine how awful season 4 would have been if the Agent Liberty would have been the only storyline going all the way to the end of the season? I mean,
it would have been like, Arrow levels, Arrow season 4, nearly. No, it's not as bad, but like, getting there. So,
it's still the weakest season of all seasons of Supergirl, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. And season 5, when I've been asked about this, I look back at it and I'm like, I liked it. I liked it at the time. I thought it was pretty good, but it's a very average season, I feel like. They had some very good episodes dotted in here and there. There was the Back from the Future episodes with Win. I really liked
the two-parter, yeah.
Yeah, and then the It's a Super Life, the 100th episode, I really liked. You had Rain coming back, you had Monel, you had all of these people.
That was really that was a fan service episode. They totally nailed that.
Yeah. And Mr. Mixer-Spitlick was really cool in that, and yeah, so you had some really good episodes last season, but overall, the main storyline is a little bit forgetful, I feel like.
Not only forgetful, it didn't really make any sense. Like I kept trying to connect the dots for that storyline. Like, what do they want? Why are they doing this? What is the whole purpose behind anything that's happening? And there was really no answer. And then the connection between Lex and these other like mythological villains was so flimsy that they waited until the very end to go, oh, this is how they're connected. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, there were some good individual episodes and some good story arcs, but I think as a season, the only thing that saves it from season 4 is at least it felt cohesive. At least there was a storyline that was running through the whole season. Whereas with season 4, it almost felt like they were throwing darts at a board when they were going to do episodes, and it was kind of weird. So, but season 1 of Supergirl though is an interesting season because Cat Grant was one of my favorite characters, and her not being on the show really concerned me going from LA to Vancouver.
Gutted the show for me. It went from like even with Cat Grant in the show, I would only call it kind of watchable. And then when they got rid of her as a regular, I mean, I tried it, but they didn't have another Cat Grant level charisma character on the show.
Yeah.
And they, everyone else is eating up the screen time she left behind, and none of them carry that same presence. Like, it just, all the other shows have somebody like that. Like,
I think Melissa and her had a great chemistry, and I think that was the thing that really made season one shine. Because let's be into it. Like, honestly, the villains in season one were awful, absolutely awful. The whole and what was it? The Brainiac, female Brainiac. What was her name? The purplish blue Brainiac character.
Indigo.
Yeah. Oh. She's actually named after a color. And here I am. I'm an idiot. Like, I know her as a Brainiac. She's a version of Brainiac. Anyway, she looked awful, and I love the actress that played her because she played Supergirl back on Smallville, I believe. So I love that connection, but the makeup, everything about that was so wrong, and it was just awful. And I hated the villains in season one. It really was the connections between the characters that kept me watching in season one.
I mean, for me, I've loved the show since the start. I watched it since the first episode. I remember just, because it was at a time when I was really into Arrow and The Flash, and I was like, there's another superhero show. I knew it was separate, but then I was like, I used to tell my friends, I was like, you should watch Supergirl. It feels like The Flash. And then I remember when it crossed over for the first time, I forgot that they were crossing over. I heard the Flash music, and I was like, what the hell? Am I going crazy or something? And it was sick. But I agree with you. No. I was just going to say the biggest problem with Supergirl has been their villains, but then they got Rain, and that kind of fixed that a little bit, but then they've had that problem since again.
Totally think that seasons 2 and 3 of Supergirl are good without a lot of explanation, because it's obvious why they're so much better than the other seasons.
Yeah.
And and it's really sad, because if you think about it, should I even invoke his name? Andrew Kreisberg was involved with those seasons of Supergirl, and there's such bad blood with him, but I think he had really great ideas for the show. So
honestly, I think one of the main problems the last few seasons has been the showrunners. The two showrunners. I mean, I've talked to them in real life, and I've seen them being interviewed in real life. I don't know. I just don't feel like they have a connection to the show. Like, they're just more interested in what they can say rather than the storylines. I feel like they're not very interested in.
So do you mean like what they can say, as in like what kind of topics they can tackle versus what they're going to do with the show? Okay.
Yeah. But
and that's been one of the biggest criticisms of Supergirl from people, honestly.
I don't have a problem with them tackling those, but have a good story like Rain. There was lots of topical things in season 3, but they had a fantastic story as well. That's what I want,
And we had all the connections to Krypton. We got a lot of Krypton backstory in season 3. So there was a lot of really great stuff in that season. So yeah, it's true, because Supergirl, a lot of people say that it's a very agenda-driven show, and I wouldn't go as far to say that it's an agenda-driven show. I think that it's the show out of all of the Arrowverse shows that tries to incorporate real-world stuff into their fictional world. It's definitely addressing issues with like gender identity, racism, things like that. You see a lot of that on Supergirl that you don't see on the other shows. I think sometimes they're successful and sometimes they're not. It really depends on how abstract it is. But yeah, I see what you're saying, and it makes total sense that they care more about those kinds of things than makes sense in a sense that that's what we're seeing on the show, opposed to like great stories. I also think that the unfortunate reality of Alex's like lesbian love story that just kind of got sidelined, that kind of took a lot of the momentum out of that character as well, which we have had to deal with for the last couple seasons. So, you've had like so many things that have happened that have almost sabotaged Supergirl in a way. And, Melissa does it with grace. She's there doing what she has to do and getting through all the takes and just bringing that to screen all the time. So, we'll see what's going to happen. Do you think that she's going to come back at any point and like reprise the role, like in Superman and Lois, or maybe The Flash, or a crossover? Or do you think she's going to walk away forever? I know what Canadagraphs probably thinks, but I'm curious to see what you both think.
I think it'll depend how much money they give her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, money's a factor, but I don't think any type of money is going to get her back for the first year. I think there is a chance after that she might come back at some point, but I think it's going to be at least, 2 seasons down the line in any of our shows. Similar to Steven, I don't think Steven's going to come back anytime soon,
Yeah.
Maybe once.
Well, I think the other thing is that for at least the next 2 seasons, they're going to be dealing with a lot of restrictions on filming. It probably won't be until 2022 before things go somewhat back to the way they were with filming schedules. Because then you'll have a year of vaccinations and treatments and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, I think it would be interesting to see her come back. I do think though, so I know we're sitting here kind of harping on Supergirl, but I'm really curious what your thoughts are on this. With the show wrapping up, do you think they're going to leave it open-ended so that she can come back when she wants, or do you think she's going to go to the future with the Legion and be a character in the future? How do you think it's going to work? Because Mon-El's there in the future, and everybody sort of wants to have the two of them sort of get back together again. So
that's definitely the most viable way for them to explain her absence and not have people be like, why isn't Supergirl here? Like, why isn't she saving the Flash or something? Or like, why isn't she saving, helping out with this threat during the crossover?
Yeah.
So I think they need a way to write her out, essentially. So I haven't really thought about the open-ended way that they end the show, because they feel like they're going to try and write her out so they don't get all these complaints and stuff.
Because people will. If she's written out of the Arrowverse, but she still technically exists but doesn't show up, people are going to be like, well, what's the deal?
I mean, that's the same with Steven, because even himself, he was like, if my show doesn't work out, like, I'll come back and we'll do another season. Like, let's bring him back from the dead. So, I mean, there's always going to be that.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather them come back from the dead or come back from the future than to just be there with not showing up, like, for things or whatever, which I think is kind of ridiculous. Which, again, makes me wonder how they're going to end Black Lightning, because there's a bunch of superheroes in that city. So I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be really interesting. And we already see, so here, switching gears a bit, are you sad we're not getting the Green Arrow and the Canary show? Because that's probably not going to happen now. Like with Mia, and because they spent the entire 8th season setting that up pretty much.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit bummed out. Because
okay.
I am. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've said this many times, I actually kind of like Mia, right? I kind of like them. Yeah, they're not the best, but I would like to see them get given a shot at least, And especially because it's an Arrow spinoff, I kind of want to see those other Arrow characters return. Like I want to see Laurel, I want to see Dinah and stuff. Like I don't think I'm ready to give up on those characters completely, so I would like to see it because of that.
It's really sad because they did so much to build up not just Mia but both Dinah and Laurel, because they knew that they were going to get they knew they were going to get a spinoff. I should say, put air quotes there. And then they didn't do anything with them. I mean, you even see them like riding off into the sunset at the end of the episodes there, and it's like, we're waiting. Where are you Where are you driving your motorcycle to? Because I want to know. But yeah, it's just crazy. It's so much stuff. And the Flash, I have such high hopes for this upcoming season. I really want it to be good.
I feel I hear that from you like every season though.
I know. I love that show. So that's Mike's hero. Like if anybody asks my favorite DC hero of all time, it is the Flash, and it is Barry Allen. So it's not even like I just love the Flash, like specifically that character, which is why I have so much hope for that show, and I really want it to do well. And I think Eric Wallace has the best intentions. Like he's the opposite of the showrunners of Supergirl, because I think he really does care about telling a great story about the Flash. Like
I think he also knows the content. Like he's actually read up on the Flash.
Yeah.
And although they do want to tackle real world issues, I think he's going to do it in a way that makes sense on the show. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
He's talked about that. And I'm actually the same. The Flash, Barry Allen, is my favorite hero. That's the main comic I've read for the longest time. That's what I love in the animated shows. That was the reason why I wanted to, watch The Flash on TV and stuff. I love The Flash. And The Flash is contradictory to me loving Supergirl. The Flash is my favorite show.
Yeah.
on the CW easily, and it always has been. And I think the one up it has on Supergirl for me is the villains, because I love the villains. Yes, there's been some terrible. I mean, I know you kind of like the Thinker. I hate the Thinker. I thought he was so bad. I just couldn't.
It went wrong. I liked the Thinker at the beginning, but then I hated him once they started doing the body swapping. That's where I started disliking the character.
But yeah, I always have hope for the Flash as well, because it's my favorite show. I didn't have much hope after season 4, and then season 5 came. I know a lot of people don't like it. I know Paige doesn't like it, but I really like season 5 because I really like Nora. I think you either like the show or you don't like that season.
Yeah.
It depends on if you like Nora or not.
I think Pagey's actually said that 5 is his least favorite season of the Flash.
Yeah, he said correctly. That. Well, mine's easily 4.
Yeah,
4 is just bad.
So it's tough for me. It really is, and let me explain why season 4 and season 5 are tough for me to choose. I kind of go back and forth with which ones I don't like, because they're completely different reasons for why I dislike those seasons. Season 4, I hate it because the tone of the show was way off. Way off. We had episodes that felt like I was watching skits from Saturday Night Live. I mean, it was just bad. And the Thinker for me started out really strong, and then like 5 episodes in, I was like, okay, I hate this character now. And then in season 5 of The Flash, I think the entire concept of Nora coming back from the future and everyone just sort of being okay with her staying ruined the season for me. Because literally, Barry would not even run back in time 1 second in season 4 to save the city or anyone. But he's okay with his daughter coming back and just chilling. Like, I just was like, this doesn't make any sense at all. And then they were like, oh, well, Legends said it's okay. Well, I mean, have you taken a look at Legends? Like, they don't know anything about time travel. Like, they're literally the worst. Barry knows more about time travel than Legends does. So for them to give them the okay with her, which, by the way, can we talk about the fact that they were absolutely wrong? I mean, they told him it was okay for Nora to stay there because she's not an issue with time, but then she was, because the Reverse Flash got out and she erased herself from reality. So it's like they were wrong. Surprise, surprise. Which should be no surprise to anybody, but just that whole idea that Legends cleared Nora to stay behind, just, I don't know, it felt really stupid to me. So I'm torn between those 2 seasons because I dislike them for different reasons. But I think that I probably enjoyed season 5 a bit more because I like all the Reverse Flash stuff. I think all that was very cool. So if I had to pick between the 2, usually I lean on 4 being my least favorite and 5 being slightly better because of Eobard. That's kind of what I land on usually. So I think I agree with you, but Paige would say season 5 is his least favorite season, I think. So
yeah, that's interesting. I pretty much agree. But all right, I think we're gonna have to end the stream here.
Yeah, 3 hours. This is the longest stream I've ever been on before.
Because it was like, right, it was like 50 minutes I did it. And then I was like, oh, Canadagraphs, you come on. And then, we had stuff to talk about. Then you came on. And then it's like even more stuff to talk about. So, no, it was really good. But it is 12:30 here at night. And I got to film tomorrow.
Okay.
So, I got to be up early. But anyway, so thank you guys for dropping in, you two. It's really cool. I really enjoyed it. It's always good talking. I mean, that's why I like coming to the after party. It's just like, it's sometimes really hard to get up that late for me.
Well, the times are changing, so stay tuned. We're going to be changing the times. It might be better for you.
That's true. But yeah, I always enjoy it. I think, like, I've seen you on a lot of Canadagraphs. You've been going on, and so it's always good fun, especially, Pagey. He's funny. He's a funny guy.
He always tries to drive the chat in another direction, but that's for another night. We'll talk about that later on.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you for joining in, and thanks for everyone in the chat and who are watching afterwards. So yeah, go check out Canadagraphs on YouTube, Twitter, and his blog. I'll leave them in the description, and also Eric at Twitter and YouTube. All right, at DJ Eric. There you go.
Good night, everybody.